Good evening, class. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope your week is off to a great start. I know mine has been. And I have to rejoice that I am not spending this week streaming as the Noid, because I ended up winning my Noid 1, Noid 2 combined speedrun race with All Bones Jones over the weekend, which was very, very fun. Jones, however, has not been so fortunate and has to PNG-tube as the Noid for a week, and he's doing a great job at it, so I'm just going to shout him out. Please go check him out. He's a very entertaining skeleton VTuber, currently a Noid-tuber. I did, in fact, avoid the Noid Ranger. Also good to see you, Panis, Sucky90, Cheechin, Ledin, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope we are all well. Let me know if the background music is too loud. Try to get that dialed in right there for you. But tonight, we are going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm not setting this as one of my one-stream beat-the-game endurance challenges, because I think this is my first time playing an RPG on stream. That's not quite right. I have played one other action RPG for the NES on stream before, and that was Hide-Lide. Hide-Lide's a terrible game. Ys 3 is a wonderful game. Now, Ys 3 is a title that did come out in the US, but not on the NES. It came out on the TurboGrafx CD, came out on the Super Nintendo, and came out on the Sega Genesis. The 8-bit version for the Famicom was only released in Japan. However, I have bought myself a reproduction cart, which contains the game translated into English. Yeah. Ys 3 also had a wonderful remake in the mid-2000s called Ys Othenfelgana. That's probably where most people know the story. Oh, I love it, Sucky90. It's a great game. Very fast-paced combat. So I'm most familiar with the Super Nintendo version and the more modern remake. I say more modern, it was like 2005 or 2006. But as a series, Ys was really one of the pioneers for action RPGs. Hey Al, how's it going? We're just going over the Ys series a little. Yeah, no, this is not an RPG endurance stream ranger. I'll probably split this game into 2 streams, though it's not a super long game. So maybe I'll finish it tonight. But if I don't, I'm not holding it against myself. This isn't, not that it's an easy game, but it's not like, a platformer or something where I've just gotta get good. Yes, or is. Yeah, and for anyone wondering how to pronounce the series name, it is Ys. So think of like the word geese without the G, just Ys. In Japanese, it's Is, but we don't really use that sound at the end of words in English, or it's a common feature in Japanese. Is. So we would just say Ys. And that's how it's been pronounced since the series first came out. Now, I know the series has kind of a spotty history in the West, where we've received Ys 1, I know on the Sega Master System in the West. I don't think the NES version came out in the US for Ys 1 and 2. Let's see, what else? Ys 1 and 2 came out together for the TurboGrafx CD, and that did have a Western release. I think most people in the West became familiar with the series through the Wii Virtual Console release of the TurboGrafx CD version of Ys 1 and 2, which is excellent. It's really good, though Ys 1 and 2 have combat that can be really difficult for people today to get into. It's called bump combat, where you don't actually hit a button to swing your sword, you just kind of walk into enemies. And it feels weird at first, but you get used to it pretty quickly, and there's actually a lot of like maneuvering and stuff that you can get going. Feels good. Feels a lot better than Hide-Lide. I'm just putting that out there right now. But Ys, like Hide-Lide, started on Japanese personal computers, the PC-88. That very popular NEC home microcomputer line. So it had a lot of similarities with other series starting around at that same time, like Hide-Lide, Dragon Slayer, Ys. These were the games really pioneering the action RPG genre. And Ys is still going strong today. The most recent title in the series, Ys 9, only came out this past year. Hey, Xavier. Is it even possible for a game to surpass Hide Lied? We're gonna find out, Panis. I'm gonna tell you right now. Yes. And yes, their games are known for being challenging. However, in the Ys games, you generally have everything you need, and you can grind levels if you just want to be stronger, which we're going to do at the start of this game for a little bit, because otherwise you can't really progress too much. Yeah, it's been around for a really long time, El. And actually, to this day, we don't have an official release in English of one of the games in the series. Ys 5 was, I believe, Super Famicom primarily, and never had an official Western release, and has not received a remake in the same way that Ys 3 did with Oath and Felghana, or in the way that Ys 4... Ys 4 was weird. Ys 4 were two different games, one on Super Famicom, one on TurboGrafx CD, or PC Engine CD, rather, in Japan. And they've been replaced in the official timeline by, I believe, Ys Memories of Calcutta. But I would need to check the official timeline. It's confusing. You play as the same main character, Adol Kristen, throughout the entire series, and it's just the books of Ys are the continuing adventures of Adol, who's had maybe the most interesting life of any man. He goes from, country to country, saving the world over and over. He's awesome. He's super cool. So before we get into the game itself, I don't have a manual for the NES version, because there was no NES version. There was a Famicom version. I couldn't find a scan of that manual, and even if I could, I can't read Japanese. So instead, we're going to look at the US manual for Ys 3, the Super Famicom, or Super Nintendo version, just to get a look. And I do love the kind of, high fantasy style artwork there. It is a shame. I mean, the 16-bit versions of the game are better, Ranger, I'm going to say that right now, having played them. But I'm surprised at how well this NES version holds up. But you've got this beautiful art. This is the kind of thing that, as a kid, would absolutely captivate Japanese learning stream when, I don't know, Chichin. I speak a few phrases. I've been to Japan 3 times, but I just never put the time in to learn the language. And at this point, it's like, there's only so many things I can do with my time. But we'll see. Yeah. But just look at how cool this looks. This looks like the cover of a Dio album or something. And I mean that in the best way. That awesome, late 80s, early 90s, high fantasy aesthetic. You've got a volcano exploding. You've got a rainbow. It's awesome. It's super cool. And of course, thank you for selecting the adventure-packed Wanderers from Ys Super Nintendo Entertainment System Game Pack by American Sammy Corporation. Please read the instructions and warnings that follow to enhance your playing enjoyment. Yeah, exactly, El. I was just saying, Dio, or Rainbow. Actually, this is not that dissimilar from something like the album cover for, Man on the Silver Mountain by Rainbow. Hold on. I'm looking up some album art. I gotta show you what I mean. Yeah, just the album Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. Let me pull this up so you know what I mean. This is more 70s and a little cheesier, but there's definite... you can tell that they were probably fans of that over at Falcom. Let's see. Here it is. Yeah, we've got... This is the album I'm talking about. You can definitely see some passing similarity there. I just love that it's like a medieval castle, but it's shaped like a guitar. Exactly, Xavier. 80s high fantasy. Though this album was later 70s, I think. I love it. Great album, if you've never listened to it. Ritchie Blackmore on guitar, Dio on vocals, doesn't get better. Super cool. but let's go through the manual a bit more. Now, this manual is not actually going to be very useful for controls, because again, I'm playing the NES version, not the Super Nintendo one. But here is our hero. We've got our tale takes place after Adol and his friend Dogi have completed a harrowing adventure in which they conquered an evil force and saved the land of Ys from doom. As the pair continues to journey about the land of Ys, they come upon a town being visited by a gypsy caravan. While talking to the townspeople, the two friends hear about Felghana. Evidently, mysterious weather, bad crops, and rising prices have made it a bad place for merchants to do business. Dogi was worried. His hometown, Redmont, was in the heart of Felghana. His uneasiness is heightened when he has his fortune told by a beautiful fortune teller. The fortune teller gazes into her crystal ball, but as Dogi's future is being revealed, the crystal ball exploded. The explosion leaves the fortune teller unconscious. Something mysterious was happening. Adol had a nagging premonition. "Let's go to Redmont, Dogi," he said. Thus, Adol begins a new adventure in the land of Ys. Also, look at this absolute Chad. Top hero design. Simple armor, simple sword, red hair. He's the man. So here's our cast. And this is actually a fairly story-focused game. Even though it plays as a side-scrolling game where you do action, it's got a lot of cutscenes. Not necessarily cutscenes the way we'd think of them, but character dialogue. It's cool. As a youth, Adol wanders about in search of adventure. He has traveled throughout the lands of Ys, helping those in need. And we've got Elena, a friend from Dogi's childhood. Elena is kind-hearted and naive. She is distressed about the activities of her brother, Chester. Chester was once a close friend of Dogi's. He has a haunted past and is now serving the wicked Lord Mcgaia. Lord Mcgaia is the ruler of Balacentine Castle. He is hatching an evil plot to serve his sinister ambitions. And Dogi, which look at this dude, he's huge. A traveling companion of Adol's, Dogi now returns to Felghana after a 10-year absence. Oh, excellent. Yeah, Ys 1 on the Master System is a very good way to play it. Though you can also just play Ys 1 and 2, have an excellent port on Steam that lets you play the classic version, some updated ones, lots of ways to experience it. Then we've got our map screen. It's going to explain gameplay, equipment, experience points. All this is fairly straightforward. I also like that they were clearly just taking photos of a TV for this rather than capturing a composite frame. That always seems a little charming to me. True. Original hardware is nice, and that's what I'm using. You know, I have my NES. This is a reproduction cartridge. Exactly, Hazmat. Adol is the man, and he's got a lot of different moves he can do. I also just love all this art. You know, and they're basically telling you, you can talk to people, you can open stuff, you can climb on stairs, you get different swords. This sword barely fits inside the little box in the illustration. Different armor, different rings, all kinds of stuff. Very cool. None of this is super helpful to us because we're not playing the Super Nintendo version, but all the locations are the same. It's just graphically less fancy on the NES. Now, before we start the game, I would like to show you the super cool opening cutscene, not from the version we're going to play, but from the TurboGrafx 16 version, or the Turbo CD, PC Engine CD. So let's take a look at the opening as it was on CD, because it's cool. It's really cool. And let me know if the volume is okay, class. So this is not the version I'm playing. The TurboGrafx is the only major console that I've never owned, and at this point getting into it would be almost intimidatingly expensive. Let's take a look at this. Let me get out of
Think back to your worst nightmare.
We've got really cheesy narration.
The feeling of dark isolation and helplessness. The feeling that an evil force controlled your destiny. Perhaps we can compare these emotions with the terror that enclosed the people of Kenai. Their peace had been shattered by the domination of an evil demon named Demonicus.
Now try to put yourself
decimation swept over the lands
in the frame of mind class that it's like
in an inferno of
1991 or 1992. So seeing this coming out of your game system was a big deal.
Kanai's fortunes lay in this stunning warrior of indomitable strength.
I don't think that's supposed to be Adol, but
as he
very
had once
funny if it
saved
is.
an entire world from similar destruction. But now his challenge was greater than ever before.
Still super cool looking.
The insurmountable ferocity of Demonicus was frightening even to our courageous hero.
Sorry about that.
But a real man never shows his fear. And Adol
a real
was,
man
in
never
fact,
shows his
a
fear.
most gallant soul. He battled
That does
Demonicus
look just
with
so
equal
cool,
intensity
though.
in this horrific struggle to the death. The skies had darkened, and the earth shook.
Like, this is the kind of thing that as a kid, if I saw this, I'd be like, man,
rage.
I'm so hyped to go on this adventure now.
There were to be no prisoners in this holy war of good over evil. Demonicus unleashed his awesome size and strength against our hero. But Adol's cunning wit
Just
allowed
look
him
at
to
that, a
avoid
hero
and
standing
eclipse all of
alone.
the aliens' fatal blows. There was more than just a miracle behind this savior of tormented lands. Who could fight such courageous battles and manage to pull victory from such impossible odds? Who was this strange raider of evil foes?
Maybe this doesn't do
His
much
legend and
for
the
you
legend
now,
of this land are about
but I
to
would
be
have gone
retold.
nuts for this as a kid.
The
'Cause I didn't
adventure
have a
is
CD-based
in the
system
spirit of the
until
warrior, and the warrior
probably PlayStation
is
1.
you. Go now, Adol,
Well,
and
computer, I
seek out
guess.
these dark forces that oppress and terrorize the innocent lives of Kanai.
It's like you can tell it's someone trying really hard to do a cool, like, movie narrator voice. They're not quite there. Also, for as capable as the PC Engine CD, TurboGrafx CD, is as a system, the game plays a lot. The version that's on Turbo CD plays a lot more like the PC 98, PC 88 version, which have actually fairly chunky scrolling. So it's not as smooth as the Super Nintendo, Genesis, and even NES version. But you know, you're given a little story here. Let's skip ahead a bit to where we get to. There's our boys. There's Adol and Dogi. They're sailing to adventure. You've got these awesome opening, cutscene credits. This is the kind of thing that, this is as close to like playing an anime adventure got, 30 years ago. Got them quiet. Oh, it's just so cool. It's so cool. That's the kind of thing that I know, obviously modern games have better graphics, have more exciting, cutscenes, but something about this hits that sweet spot where it really gets my imagination pumping. And I don't know if that's just me, but I don't know. This is peak aesthetics. I want all games to look this cool. And the music's incredible. I feel like that goes without saying. Now, the first two games in the series had soundtracks done by Yuzo Koshiro. Legendary composer, does tons of stuff for Sega, like the Streets of Rage series, Shinobi. Incredible composer. Did ActRaiser on the Super Nintendo. Oh, so this is the TurboGrafx version, Elliot. The NES couldn't do colors quite this vibrant. I just wanted to show you what the intro we didn't get looks like. Okay, so this is what the 16-bit version of the game looks like, or at least the Turbo version. Yuzo Koshiro is a legend, and it does look amazing. Let's look at now the NES version, which is what I'm going to be playing. I'm not going to try to beat it in one stream because it is an RPG. They do tend to be a little longer, and it's not really, a case of overcoming a huge challenge in one go. But we get a little recap here of the first two Ys games, which is pretty neat. Yeah, or rather the Famicom. This still looks really nice, I think. They did a good job given the limits of the hardware. And I think it almost feels like a music demake, because obviously the NES sound chip is a lot less advanced than the system with full CD audio, or even the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. But you've got these little looks back at the story in Ys 1 and 2, I think is pretty neat, you know? It's like they were really, really doing their best to make this an interconnected, organic feeling story and series. Plus, even that NES, yeah, we had 1988, 1990, now we're in 1991. It's time for Ys 3. I love that, just 2 and 1 coming together. Ys 3, Wanderers from Ys. Let's see if it shows us that same little cutscene. Yeah, it does, Ranger. So essentially what the Repro cartridge is it's the same chipset. I think it's an MMC3 mapper chip, I would need to check, with a battery backup safe wired in, just like the Famicom cartridge had. But basically what you can do, you can even convert an actual Japanese copy of the game to English if you have like a ROM dumper. What you can do is dump the ROM, apply the IPS file, which is a patch that translates the game into English, and then play it again on real hardware. The reason I bought a Repro cart instead of the original Japanese version of the game is, one, I don't have the hardware to do that dump myself, and it requires a lot of soldering. I would love to do that. I need to buy the hardware to be able to do that kind of stuff. But also, the Japanese copy of Ys 3 is very expensive, and this Repro cart was about $50, so obviously a lot less expensive. So let's get into the game. So we're going to go with New Game. And here we go. It's been a while, Mr. Gardner. It's me, Doki. Doki, you haven't changed a bit. I'll also do my best to do, like, 90s anime voice acting. So, I mean, hold on, I gotta pretend to be an old man. Doki, you haven't changed a bit. I brought a friend along. Hey, Adol, hurry. This is where I was born. Mr. Gardner, this is Adol. We've been traveling together for 2 years. We heard rumors about the town, so we came to see if they were true. What's going on? Monsters roamed the land, and we had a poor harvest. Something strange is happening, but your return may lift the villagers' spirits. Go and let them know you're here. Adol, let's go. Now we walk through the town of Redmont. Now, the other versions of the game have a really nice parallax scrolling effect where you can see, you know, the houses, the street behind this one scrolling at a different rate, giving that illusion of depth. The NES version omits all of that, but... So, Doki, what do you think of my hometown? Oh, pardon. Are you okay? Hey, Twirling Curtis. Watch where you're going. Doki? Is that you? Elena? Doki, you haven't changed at all. Neither have you. Hey, how's your brother? I haven't seen him for a while. I'm in a hurry. I'll see you later. I like the quite small character spreads. Huh? All right. Bye. I'll go get a room at the hotel. Trying to do 90s anime style voice acting is really, really fun. If it's terrible, just let me know and I can stop. But now we're given control of Adol. We're free to run around. So at any time, we can hit select to look at our stats. Obviously, we're level 1 right now, even though we've been through 2 whole games of adventure. We can look at our equipment. We've got nothing. We can look at our items. We've got nothing. And we can save. So let's go ahead and make a save right there. Yeah, side-scroller Ys, Mikio. And if we want to talk to people, I think we just hit, B. Yep. Grandma Ida locked herself up in her home since her son died. We can go in. This is a nice room, Dogi. Adol is not a silent protagonist, by the way. He does talk a little. But then there's nothing else I can say to Dogi here. Now, the jumping in the game can feel a little weird. If you do a short hop, it's really up and down, or you can hold it for a longer hop. I do love side-scrolling RPGs, and the NES had a lot of them. You know, Zelda 2, Battle for Olympus, Xanadu, East 3, even stuff like Rambo would count.
Hello, hello.
Oh, that's funny.
Hello.
Oh, and thank you for following. It's fate. So let's explore the town a little bit, talk to the townspeople. This town depends on the Tigray mine, if the monsters take control of it. So we're gonna have to go to the mine and sort things out. No one is home. Also, for a 1991 release, you know, that's not too late in the NES lifespan. It was getting plenty of games still. This is nice, vibrant, colorful, not really pushing the envelope too much, but it's nice. Who are you? Are you a traveler? I think this is Grandma Ida. And I think we have nothing more to say to her at this time, unfortunately. Can I run into your fire? No. Oh, no, I can. That's not in front, that's in. Because I can't jump when I'm under there. I can hit the button and nothing... Yeah, that's funny. Let's leave her alone for now. Now we've got some shops. Hey, thank you, Twirling Curtis. Let's see, this is the item shop. We're not going to buy anything here because we want to grab a sword, shield, and armor before we head out on our adventure. What would you like? I would like a sword, please. I have 1,000 gold, so... And it just so happens... No, I think that's a fair comparison. There's a lot of differences between this and Zelda 2 overall, Ranger, but they both fit broadly into the same genre, I would say, of side-scrolling RPG. You know, action-adventure. It's very cool. Alright, and we've got enough money to get ourselves the starter version of each thing. Now, if we wanted the large shield, it costs 6,000 gold, so we're not going to get that for a while. Now we need to go ahead and equip all our items. They don't do that automatically. But you just click to the right and they're auto-equipped, and now we've got our sword. Oh no! What's happened? What's wrong? The Tigray mine has been invaded by monsters. Edgar, the town elder, didn't make it out in time. We must save him. I'll go. Dewey went to the mine but couldn't find him. Please, save Edgar. Now Adol's got his mission. Time to go be a hero. Yeah, comparatively very large man laying down. And now we can leave the town. And you go to a map screen. Let's head to the mine. Also, the music here is just so good. Also, I think these graphics are really nice, very colorful, very pleasant to look at. The song's amazing. It plays a lot faster in this one than a lot of the other versions of Ys. Also, Adol's overall moveset. That's holding down the B button. He swings his sword super fast. We can also swing up. We can crawl. Swipe at the ground. We can do a downward thrust, upward thrust. He's got a wide array of moves. Also, just... There's nothing to fight on this screen. You just get a sick-looking background. Now, in the other versions, there is cool parallax scrolling going on. But not so on the Famicom version. But now we're in the mine, and what you're going to immediately find is that pretty much everything here hurts you a lot. Yeah, they are surprisingly close. Obviously, the Super Nintendo version has much better, you know, colors overall and more scrolling. But the NES version is very smooth. You know, it animates nicely, moves quickly. What we're going to want to do to get started here, though... Oh, hold on. Cat, what are you doing? Don't scratch at the door. Just come in. Sorry, my cat's being a jerk. I can hear him destroying my door. What we're going to want to do is just... Well, we're going to die immediately is what? Because we need to level up a bit. We are too weak. Hold on, my cat is destroying my door. I will be right back. Sorry about that. He's peeling the outer veneer of the door away. All right, let us load our game. Hey, Cream, welcome on in, Raiders. How's it going? I'm just starting to play Ys 3 for the NES. Welcome on in. What were you up to? Playing Nightmare Reaper. I really want to play that. I don't need to be the Noid, Aegon. I won the race. Noid is over on Jones's channel, but welcome on in, Raiders. So, what we're going to need to do, if you want to heal in this game, you just hop outside. I saw Civi's videos on it as it was under development, and it looks exactly like the kind of game I would love. I just haven't gotten around to picking it up yet. But we're going to want to just kill these enemies on the starting screen for a little while to get some levels. Whoops. Nightmare Reaper looks absolutely awesome though, so thank you for the raid, Cream. For anyone who doesn't know, my name's Professor Bloom. I'm a teacher that does lots of music-related stuff. I organize a VTuber choir, and I play lots of retro games, all on real hardware. So tonight we are playing Ys 3, but not the version that came out in the US. This is the Famicom version, which is the Japanese NES. It's a repro cart with the game translated into English, but it is on real NES hardware. And what we're going to do for a while now is just kill these, starting area enemies to level up just a little bit. Hey, Certified Dummy, how's it going? And Aegon, I don't think I welcomed you. I just told you that I'm not annoyed. Jones is. There we go. Yeah, Andrew Hulshult is like the modern day go-to guy for retro throwback FPS music. He's awesome. Also, you can see our HP recovers very quickly when we're out in the field like that. So we're just going to be grinding levels for a bit. I think we want to get to about level 3 before we really get on with, this first area here. And as you can see, it is very easy to take damage, pretty much the second you walk into an enemy. So combat in this game is really about being quick and getting out of the way. Oh, our health didn't recover that fast. There we go. There we go. But we're just going to want to use our, basic moves. Soon these things will all be one-hits, and it'll get a lot easier. Now, if we go forward in the mine a little bit more, you'll see there are other types of enemies on the next screen that are pretty much way too strong for us. You'll see what I mean. Also, the music here is great. It's not as rich as the other versions, but considering the limitations of the system, it's great. Or like that waterfall in the background isn't moving, but we've still got a large area that scrolls in 4 directions, which wasn't, a given on the NES, the way it is on, more advanced hardware that came later. We're going to want to be... These bat things can probably kill us almost instantly. So you want to get behind it, avoid it. We're going to go back to the starting area to level more responsibly. I just wanted to show you this area a bit. And you can see the enemy has its own health bar. So you can see that was worth a lot more experience, but was also a lot more dangerous to fight. Yeah. So that Moir effect is really only because of the low quality of my capture device, Panis. I just have a really cheap composite to USB capture, but in a way, I don't know, I kind of like how low quality it looks, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's just advanced hipster cope, but, I don't have like a CRT filter on. This is just the direct capture right out of the back of my NES. And, shit. I should have saved. Let's see if the game's been merciful. It is easy to die quickly if you're not being careful. No, okay. Let's not move into the advanced areas. Let's just... I think these giant spiders are... Yeah, they're 8 experience a pop. So we can run back and forth with that big fly, who's 5 experience each. Yeah, exactly. It's Soul. But honestly, this is kind of how I remember most games looking as a kid. They look fine on a CRT. That is one thing I do wish this could replicate, though. Because sometimes when you see what looks like a checkerboard pattern laid over something else, there's supposed to be, a natural dithering effect or that dithering gets smoothed out by the nature of how a CRT works. That doesn't really translate even to direct capture from the hardware like this. So this was 1991, Elliot, so the NES still had a good 3 more years to go. Now, the NES got commercial releases until 1994. So actually, I just ordered a reproduction cartridge of the last officially released Famicom game, which was Adventure Island 4. We got Adventure Island 1, 2, and 3 in the US, but we never got the 4th one, which is a shame because that one takes on a lot of RPG elements. Oh, see, I had composite as a kid. We were fancy with that high-quality composite out and mono sound. That is one thing I like, that we at least are getting, you know, our sound duplicated here. Let's go back outside and heal up. Now, there are healing herbs you can get, but you can only carry one at a time. We'll find one in this dungeon. We don't have to buy it. But for a while, we're just going to want to run around and kill easy enemies to get some level ups. Which, you know, might not be the most thrilling thing in the world. But I'm trying to remember whenever I play games like this, exactly Lead & Gin. No, I don't. No, leveling was hell in Hide Light, Elliot. This combat, at least, is actually fun. Like, it's super fast and responsive and feels good. Leveling in Hide Light was awful. I mean, everything in Hide Light was awful. Actually, I've considered, class, I don't know if you were here for the Hide Light stream, you would remember that one of the things you could do with channel point redeems was, yeah, it's a bit of a chore, Hazmat, but I don't know, I don't mind it. You know, I don't mind grinding in games where the grinding itself feels good, and you level up. Yeah, like we've just gotten the level here, and now pretty much everything will die to 1 hit. So it's only gonna get, yeah, now these die in 1 hit. So this gets faster and safer and feels a little better. Yeah, exactly. Combat improves as you go. Well, let's make sure we're saving. Yeah, no, the level ups really, really matter in this, Elliot. Like, this makes a huge difference. Yeah. I mean, it's not just once matches. They do it twice. Even the victory theme in Hide Light, which is one of the only other pieces of... Oh no, some are even larger than that, Elliot. And I don't know if you noticed, but we got markedly stronger. Yeah, I take less damage, I do more damage, I have more HP. You know, so now, like, these starting room enemies, I can just absolutely chop on through. The enemies on the next screen are still a bit strong, and we wouldn't want to try to fight the boss for a while yet. But, you know, it helps that, one, we've got great music, the play control is nice and tight. You know, grinding here does not feel like a chore. That's like in, even in some turn-based games. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Dragon Quest series, and something about them, the way those games feel, I never feel bored or resentful when I grind levels in those games, because you just get into this rhythm and it feels really good. Also, our next level up is at 1,000, so it won't take very long. And after that point, we'll start exploring more of the mine. Man, the combat in this is super fast, responsive, nice fast scrolling. You know, actually, for anybody wondering, let me show you what the Super Nintendo version looks like, because I think you'd be surprised at how similar these look. Let me mute this and let me pull up the Super Nintendo version so you can see, because they're not as different as you would expect. Yeah, here's the Super Nintendo version. Let's get it a little more in frame. There we go. So you can see the graphics between the versions. Yeah, this is also the version I played first, Hazmat. So you can see there's, you know, nice scrolling going on here in the Super Nintendo version. But in terms of things like, you know, animation, or how well things how well things move, how well things animate, they're not that far apart. the color is a lot better, sounds a lot better, but the core of the game is pretty intact. And that's what I've been impressed with. I tested this game out when I bought it to make sure that it worked, because it was a dodgy repro cart that I bought online. But you can see the actual combat is pretty much completely, unchanged. So it's not super far apart. And you can see this guy's doing the same thing. And enemies look better and have more frames of animation. But in terms of how the game itself actually plays, it's pretty one-to-one. You've just got better graphics on the Super Nintendo version. I mean, they are a lot better overall. But it's not, it doesn't feel like the NES version is bad. It doesn't feel that much lesser, which I think is, a mark in favor for, Falcom or whatever developer they had, outsource this. If anything, this version plays a little faster, which is either a good or bad thing, depending on how you feel about that. Yeah, exactly. Final Fantasy IV was not a big step up graphically from the NES. It had obviously fancy things like the Mode 7 scrolling. Yeah. If you want to get into the Ys series, the best place to start, I think, would be either Ys Oath and Felghana, which is a remake of this game with a different style of combat and a different, a more like top-down isometric 3/4 view. Or Ys Origins, which doesn't feature Adol. That's a prequel game set in the same world, basically. Yeah, very, very niche overall, but it's a very long-running series, Hollow Warrior. Since 1987. The most recent game actually just came out last year, Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, which I've bought but haven't played yet. The more modern Ys games, like Ys 7 onwards, 7, Memories of Calcutta, and now 9, take on a very different combat style. The series has had several different types of combat in its history, going from the bump combat, which is a top-down perspective, and is very different to this, to a side-scrolling entry with, action combat. Ys 4 went back to the top-down bump combat style in one of the versions, and action combat in the other. Ys 5, which is, I think, the only game in the series never released in the West, has a top-down style, but you don't do bump combat. It's more like, Zelda, where you're pressing buttons. Yeah, you've got to get the hang of it, but once you do get the hang of it, it feels really good to line something up with an enemy's weak spot or sneak up behind them and, just absolutely destroy them. But it takes getting used to. And bump combat was really just a way to get around the limitations of early home computers like the PC-88, couldn't really handle high-intensity action games. So bump combat was kind of a way around that, and it worked well. I mean, High Glide had a similar thing to bump combat, only you would toggle a button for either attacking or defending, and in fairness, it works better on the PC-88 than it did on the NES version. The NES version was a bad port and was also 5 years after the original. Alright, we are level 3 now. Let's save and go deeper into the mine and start really exploring. Yeah, Omega Paladin, I think it's really reasonably about the same. But, it's the kind of thing you just get used to it. And I don't mind it very badly. If anything, I'm just impressed at how capable and faithful a version of the game this is. Because you gotta think, this came out around the same time, so if you only had a Famicom in 1991, you hadn't upgraded to a Super Famicom or a Mega Drive, you didn't have, a super high-end home computer like a Sharp X68000, or, one of the higher quality, like PC-98, this would have been a totally reasonable way to play the game, I think. Oh, you used to speedrun this NES version. I feel like this would be actually a pretty fun game to speedrun. Just for the, it's not a super long game. So I feel like that could be a lot of fun. The one thing that's a little weird with the hit detection are the stairs. You know, just getting on them. But you can kind of use the stairs to your advantage like that. Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny, because it stops a lot of people in the remake as well. Omega Paladin, you know, in Oath. So you pronounce it Ease. Like geese without the G. Yep. Also, Spurbus, you are a pernicious mammering swain. A dissembling flap-mouthed flirt-gill. East nuts, get out of here. Can't believe I fell for that. Why ass? Alright, I think I'm gonna head back outside, recover my health a bit. That was a good one, Spurbus. I'm mad that I got, but you deserve it. It was good. Shut up, Elliot. I'm gonna get you with one of those someday. I gotta think of a Fire Emblem one. I'm trying to think, what Fire Emblem characters could I do with that name? Or with a name where I could do that. I'm sure I can think of some. Man, every time I go outside to heal up, I want to stay out there because this music is so good. All the music in this is just spectacular. Nope. Not gonna do it, Elliot. You can answer. Feel free. I'm not gonna fall for it. Yeah, no, you are just throwing your sword around like a madman. I'm here for it. Adol is here to save the day. He's not here to look pretty doing it. He's here to just get in there. It is super fast-paced and satisfying. I mean, you need to just get out of an enemy's way, is the main thing. That's the secret to combat in this, is just don't be in the way. Hitting airborne foes can be really tricky. I don't think it gets bigger, Elliot, but you get other swords that are stronger. They might get a little larger. I don't know if the NES version changes the sprite. I don't think even the Super Nintendo or Genesis version did that. I'm not sure when our next level up comes, but yeah. Oh, no, that would make it way too easy. That would be that would be too much leeway. I mean, it would be satisfying as hell, but you can just kind of run a circuit to, you know, get some levels in. Oh, hello, kitty. What do you want? Oh. My cat has just laid down across the legs of my swivel chair, and oh, thank you, XSE. Which means if I move my chair, I will either run him over or get his hair caught in the wheels of my chair, so I am now functionally immobile. Thank you, cat. Cats have a real knack for that. And despite all that, we still love them. Well, let's try to plunge deeper into the mine and see if we can't save Edgar. Because we've got there's a lot to do here. I think one of the things that's also satisfying about older RPGs in particular... So hold on, I keep ending up looking the wrong way somehow. Let me fix that. There we go. I think one of the things that's really satisfying about older RPGs in particular is that you get a ton of sense of progress, you know, of being on that adventure, without necessarily having to spend a ton of time to do it. Also, exploiting the way stairs work in this game like that is a good strategy for killing these guys without endangering yourself too badly. Is it cheap? Yes. Am I going to abuse it? Also yes. The stairs do feel a little weird to get on and off of because you can't just jump onto them. You have to go to the bottom and hit up or down. So it can be a little weird. Ooh, okay, Xavier, let me get that for you. Yeah, Jones put a lot of work into his Noid Burbus, and I'm very impressed by it. Also, Xavier, let me do this for you. Please remember that when you feel scared or frightened, never forget times when you feel happy. When day is dark, always remember happy day. There we go. Man, reading that feels like having a stroke. That is a copy pasta Spurbus. Thank you, Izumikyo. Yeah, the Noid race was a ton of fun. Yeah, Yowie Hands, East 3. Only this is the NES version, or Famicom version rather, which didn't come out in the US. I have here a reproduction cart that has the game in English on it, and it's a very capable port. It is very fast, very responsive. The translation seems very good. I am very impressed with it overall. Whoops, I went too far up on the stairs. Also not sure when our next level is. I think it might be 2000. Yeah, the SNES version is the one I played first, as well followed by the more modern remake, Oath and Felghana. Oath is really, really good, but I kind of wish there was more Ys in the 2D side-scrolling style, because I think it fits the series really well. No, it's a very satisfying kind of thing to play. Yeah, the music is great. They did a really good job. Every single version of this game's soundtrack is incredible. You know, from the PC-88 original to, you know, even like the Sharp X68000 version, Mega Drive, they all are. Yeah, 87 Spurbus and still going. Ooh, all right. Let me do that. Cue that up for you, Cheechin. Give me a sec. Let's see. Gotta think of how to do this one. How is baby formed? How girl get pregnant? They need to do away in stain mother who kill their babies because these baby can't fight back. It was on the news this morning, a mother in R who would kill her 3 kids. They're taking the 3 baby back to New York, 2 lady to rest. My parry are with the father who lost his children. I am truly sorry for your lots. There we go. It's a bit of recitative. Swordsman's Contra. That's not a bad way to put it, Emperor Spoon. Thank you, everybody. Yes, there are, the East timeline is pretty complicated. Like, East Oath and Felghana, which is just the remake of this one, has replaced it in the timeline, but East 4 has been essentially replaced by East, Calcutta. Only there were 2 East 4s to begin with, and they were both different because Falcom didn't develop their own East 4. They subcontracted it out to 2 different developers who made 2 different games on 2 different systems. All right, we've got some more. Let me see what I got for you. We've got Godzilla had a stroke trying to read that and fucking died. And has anyone really been far? Even has decided to use even Go wanted to look more like. There we go. Robert Ashley. I have not. Yeah, hitting all the classics. Oh, getting messed up by that guy. Thing is, I've always, whenever I get one of those, I have to think, okay, what style of recitative fits that? Because sometimes you have recitative that are melodic, some are really just text delivery, and you've usually got, you know, an orchestra behind you playing, you know, a chord here and there to accentuate whatever you're doing. So let's see if 2000 is where we level up, because I think it might be, and then we'll move on. Yeah, I might turn that off, because I do just want to play the game. I'd prefer it not to be too long, you know, because I don't want to take too much away, but I will trust your judgment, Cheechin. But, you know, nothing obscene, generally speaking, is what I'd like to keep it at. Hold on one sec. Hold on. Sorry, kicking cat out of the office. It's being too much. Starting to chew on cables. So the grinding's purpose is to just make the game itself a little easier, because if you go in underleveled, you will die pretty much instantly once you get to any of the, you know, first boss fights. So it's really just, you know, a case of being a little cautious first. Let's see, I think this is our next level up. No, it's not. It might be 3,000. Let's move on then. I think we're strong enough to deal with whatever we've got to deal with. Let me make sure. Did I turn my reverb off? Yes, I did. I'm never sure if I did or not. I always end up double checking. Yeah, the grinding's for survival. No, so the ring meter is for when you get magic spells. Though, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Russian bro. Appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, but the rings, you get different rings throughout the game that have magic powers. So that's what that meter is for. I don't have any currently, so, you know, it won't do anything. But eventually I will get some rings. And they're very, very important. Yeah, nope, I'm gonna refund you that one. I'm not doing that. Let's see, where's my review requests? There we go. Yep, I don't feel like reading IPA and trying to do that at the same time. It's just, yeah, it's a copy pasta. It's what in the goddamn. I don't want to decipher the IPA. Sorry, Cheechin. It's basically, it looks like the like Navy SEAL copy pasta, but more like in faux Old English. Yeah. Now, I can read some of it. Old English is a completely different language to even Middle English. So like what is like what, or just something to, you know, get someone's attention. That's what Beowulf opens with, is just what, you know, declamation basically. Yeah, actual Old English, the language Old English. Something like Shakespeare is not in Old English. Shakespeare's in EME, Early Modern English. Shakespeare is substantially the same language we use today. Something like the Canterbury Tales is Middle English, you know, Chaucer's English, which is really a big mixture of Old English, Norman French, and, you know, the persistent Germanic influences that were always in English. Yeah, about 1,500 years ago. Yeah, Shakespeare is not Old English at all. Shakespeare is still substantially the same language we speak today, even if it doesn't feel like it. A lot of words in Old English are actually very similar to some German words. Like, you know, in that opening monologue of Beowulf, where the Scope, or Schope, the, you know, bard basically telling the story, says, like, talking of the previous king of the Danes, like, "What were good König," like, that was a good king, which is very similar to the same German for a lot of those words. Though I'm not the same, but some even German dialects, like Frisian, is very similar to Old English. Oh, we're gonna try to get out of here. Yeah, ein guter König, something like that. Well, we're gonna try to get safely to the entrance of the mine again. Yeah, there you go. Also, hello, Pinky. Yeah, it's very, very similar. In some ways, not in others. It is a distinct language. You know, we call it English, but it's unintelligible for the most part. Which just goes to show English is not one language. English is like 3 languages piled on top of each other in a trench coat pretending to be a language. Which is my favorite way to think of it. Oh, okay, Rousseau, I'll pull something up in a second. Whoops. I've died. Well, that seems like a good time to do it, because I just saved. Let me make sure that I've got, how's it going? Got our balance more or less right. Let me know if something's too loud or not. And I will try to play while singing if I can. Let's see. I've got one that feels like it would be fun. So it might be more than my brain can handle right now. We'll see. Let's give it a go. And it's a good thing I remembered to save. That might be too loud. Mayonaka no Milky Way 少年はドルフィンを捕まえた星しぶき跳ね上げて少年はドルフィンと泳ぎ出す昔語り船乗りはそんな話を聞かせてくれたパイプくゆらせ懐かしそうにオラドルフィンオラドルファンオラドルフィンドルファンドルフォン Remind me not to try to sing Japanese while playing a game. Too much brain power. Ame agari no mizu tamari. Whoops. 見てごらんドルフィンが泳いでるこの街もいたんだね見てごらんドルフィンが泳いでるたまの休日船乗りはしくれたった指で戯れる帽子はみだに少年のようオラドルフィンオラドルファンオラドルフィンドルファンドルフォントゥトゥルトゥトゥルトゥルトゥルWhoops. I came and immediately took all the damage I tried to avoid. More than my brain can handle 2 things at once. Please understand it's a Monday. I have limited processing power on a Monday. I'm also not sure if there's even more song left after this point or if we're just on the outro now. Cat, what do you want? Stop. Your bowl is full. You have food. You have water. You just want attention. Sorry, my cat is being very needy right now. Give me 1 sec. Also, thank you for the karaoke. Give me 1 sec. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh, that was fun. Let me turn the game sound back on. There we go. There's that beautiful NES sound. Oh, and thank you for the Pachis. That was fun. That is such a catchy song. Also, I think it's because it's like springtime now. You know, I'm in the habit of taking walks whenever I can, but I especially like taking nighttime walks. You know, so like, last night, I ended up taking a walk and just put on like a city pop playlist, and it was so satisfying. Oh, this is a good one, El. Let me see. Scott Steiner, Math. Let's see. You know, they say that all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Allbones Jones, and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally, if you go one-on-one with another Yonoid speedrunner, you've got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal, so you got a 25% at best at beating me. There we go. I love that Scott Steiner Math. You know, man, wrestling is really just real-life anime. Think about it. Think about it. You've got crazy feuds, you've got ridiculous character arcs, you've got, you know, it's just anime. That's why it's fun. You know, and you're watching, you know, when people are like, oh, wrestling is fake, you know, it's not fake. Yes, the outcomes are predetermined, but you're watching essentially live stunt performers pulling off incredible, you know, athletic feats, you know, in front of a live audience. That's more real than, you know, most TV programs. Like, no, it's not an athletic competition. It's not really even pretending to be a real athletic competition anymore. Wrestling used to be a real athletic competition in like the, you know, 19-teens, 1920s. It was a genuine sport. And you had, you know, titans like, you know, Frank Gotch in the US and the Great Gama in India, who were, you know, the most celebrated athletes of their time. But, you know, they didn't have The Undertaker, so who really wins? Yeah, it is shown in anime. That's why it's fun. Yeah, exactly. Hero sees the bad guy destroy everything, gets a crew together, goes to destroy him. There's betrayals, there's romance, there's mentor hops in the ring. It's awesome. You know, it doesn't have to make sense. It's all about the spectacle and the emotional payoff. One of my favorite things. So, class, how many of you are familiar with German filmmaker Werner Herzog? Yeah, Mechanicat, doing great. How many of you are familiar with Werner Herzog? You know, celebrated German filmmaker. He, for the past 20 years, has been unprompted in interviews bringing up WrestleMania because he can't look away. So this is like 20 years of him talking about it. So in the year 2000, I'm also going to do a Werner Herzog impression because he has a very distinctive voice. Let's see. Opera singers are never in close-up like on camera. In cinema, you have only one perspective, and that's the lens of the camera. Here they have to act for over 2,000 people in the theater. That's 2,000 different angles and focal lengths. It's like watching a basketball game of WrestleMania. So, unprompted, just brings up WrestleMania. Here's in 2002 an interview. It's fascinating because something very crude, something very raw is emerging. A raw, primitive form of new drama is being born, as primitive and crude as it must have been in the earlier Greek times before Sophocles and before Euripides, when something like this emerged for the public eye. I do believe that what is fascinating about WrestleMania is the stories around it, the dramas between the owner of the show and his son who are feuding, and his wife in the wheelchair who is blind, and he is then showing up in the ring with 4 girls who have huge fake boobs and he is fondling them. This is almost sort of an ancient Greek drama, evil, uninterrupted by commercials. So what does it say? It says that this sort of thing is more important than the fight itself, which of course is staged and manipulated. And that's very interesting to me because apparently the emergence of a new drama has been understood by these people who invented WrestleMania. He just, for 20 years now, he has just unprompted in interviews been bringing up WrestleMania because he sees it as, the emergence of a new form of drama. And really, he's right to call it more like, an old drama form. It must have, he thinks it's like, this must have been, early Greek theater must have been like this. This new form of drama with spectacle and villains and apparently women. Yeah, exactly. Fondling fake boobs, right? That's the height of theater. Shakespeare would have loved it. Are you kidding me? Anybody who thinks that Shakespeare is like highbrow entertainment hasn't read Shakespeare. I got Bob's pendant. Also, I want to apologize to any German speakers for my terrible Werner Herzog impression. But he's got a very distinctive cadence to his voice. Yeah, exactly, Mr. J. One of my two favorite film adaptations of Romeo and Juliet are the, I think, 96 or 97. None taken. I mean, it could be worse, I'm sure. But so it's extremely similar to the Metroid jingle, Roussel. Like, to the point that I had to go back and listen to the Metroid jingle to confirm. So let me play the sound effects back to back. Because it's so similar. So here's the item tune. This is the Ys item tune. In various Ys games. Sorry, that's loud. And it's been the same throughout the series. Very distinctive jingle, and here it is compared with the Metroid one. It's very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's extremely close. Yeah, that's true, El. And yeah, Shakespeare is like 50% sex jokes, and the other half is just wanton violence. That's why I actually love the super stylized Baz Luhrmann Romeo plus Juliet, the one from the mid-late 90s. With we've got story. Leave. You have no business here. Who are you? Look at this jerk. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Edgar can't get out. I tried to help him, but I wasn't strong enough. Take this warehouse key and get a sword from there. It'll help you rescue Edgar. The warehouse is above and to the right of a pit nearby. Hurry! I got the warehouse key. Yeah, the Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes, John Leguizamo. I love that one because it keeps all the original language, but it captures just how ridiculous it is. Oh, so I've got to go back. Yeah, look, I can play Metroid on stream. They wouldn't bonk me for playing the item jingle. But the other... Hey, thank you for following, Seeker Eyes. The other version of Romeo and Juliet in film that I find extremely fun, though I can understand why a lot of people wouldn't have the stomach for it, is from almost the exact same time. Oh, thank you, Ranger. Is Troma films. So, think like The Toxic Avenger, Sergeant Kabuki Man, the peddlers of the absolute lowest of the low trash, released their own version of Romeo and Juliet in the 90s called Tromeo and Juliet, where the Montagues and Capulets are now like feuding porno factory drug czar families. And, the whole movie is doused in incredible amounts of gratuitous gore, sex, everything. Troma aren't even like B movies. They describe themselves as Z-grade cinema. And they're right. and that's part of what's wonderful about them. But that Romeo and Juliet was one of the first feature-length directorial efforts of James Gunn, who has gone on to do, the Guardians of the Galaxy films and lots of really well-regarded movies. He got his start working for Lloyd Kaufman at Troma Films and produced a wonderfully depraved version of Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, I've not played Reveal the Deep yet, Emperor Spoon. So it does sound good. And yeah, if you have the stomach for gallons of fake blood, definitely watch Romeo and Juliet, because it's just a delightfully transgressive, messed up version of Romeo and Juliet that actually stays quite faithful to the Bard's original in bizarre ways. I know that doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement, but I think of all things, like, even the New York Times gave it, like, a positive review. Roger Ebert as well. Because it's got just such a wild sensibility to it that I think if you can get around the aesthetic, of all the blood and the sex and the, insanity, you will find a really enjoyable telling of the tale. And I mean, the blood and sex are part of it. Romeo and Juliet was written as mass entertainment, and it's very successful at that. It's been successful at that for a long time. Yeah, exactly. He just yells, "It's fun!" And that's the thing. Wild, over-the-top violence in, the Quentin Tarantino style, or the Lloyd Kaufman, Troma film style, or like, zombie movies. Low-grade zombie movies. They're not frightening or upsetting violence. I think a great example, not actually a Tarantino film, Tarantino's in it, is From Dusk Till Dawn. The vampire shoot-'em-up film starring George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. That film starts William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Interesting, Ranger. Yeah, but From Dusk Till Dawn starts with realistic violence. It starts with the two brothers who are, robbing banks and stuff, and putting people at gunpoint. That's realistic violence. And it's upsetting, It's not feel-good cartoon. The second half of the film is drenched in blood. Everyone dies. Even the kid gets torn apart. But and you've got Tom Savini with that incredible, like, penis revolver gun, who did the special effects. And Tom Savini, obviously, was the Dawn of the Dead guy, legendary special effects artist. But, you've got all this insane violence in the second half of the movie, but it's fun because it's not realistic. None of that can happen in real life. But people, oh yeah. If you haven't seen it, Emperor Spoon, watch From Dusk Till Dawn, because it's two very different movies connected in the middle by one of the best dance sequences ever put to film. And I will not elaborate. You've got to see it for yourself. Incredible. But, it's a good study in contrast between, film violence that is realistic and film violence that is fun. Something like gallons of fake blood and body parts flying around is fun because it's over the top. Yep, that's what I'm talking about, El. Unbelievable. If it was like a TV version, Emperor Spoon, it might have been left out. Let's see, where do I need to go? I need to go find a better sword that's somewhere hidden here. I've got the warehouse key now, so I think I can progress further. Highly, highly recommend it if you haven't seen it in a while, Emperor Spoon, because it's a good movie. Go down the stairs, Adol. Come on, there you go. He was having trouble there. Wait, get that sword. Let me look at the map. Where do I find... Okay, I got the pendant. Yeah, exactly. Revolver at his belt, 2 chambers as the balls. Extremely funny. Okay. Oh, now I know where I can go. I've got it now. I should give it a try then, Emperor Spoon. Happy hour for vampires. I mean, yeah, pretty much. That was... That's also a thing. You know, usually you associate that kind of movie with, like, zombie films. So I thought it was fun that it was vampires for whatever reason. You know, I feel like vampires don't get used enough as actual monsters in movies. Yup, Danny Trejo. Great at being the gritty kind of guy. Just a delightful movie. I've not seen the sequels, which I can't imagine are nearly as good. But you've also just got, you know, the kind of frenzied directorial style of Robert Rodriguez. Oh, thinking of frenzied directorial style, has anyone seen the new Doctor Strange movie? Because that is Sam Raimi's return to, like, Hollywood filmmaking for the first time in quite a while. And I've not seen it yet, but I have heard from people whose opinions on movies I generally trust that it does feel like a Sam Raimi film. Oh shit. Can I leave? Nope. Oh, I'm toast. Let's see when I last saved. Oh, Lord. Oh, okay. Just in the room before. Yeah, I got crushed. At least we're still at the right level we were at. Let's see. Yep, okay, I've got the warehouse key still, so I can just go outside and save. And then I've got to be ready for a fight. In the remake, the modern version, Oath and Felghana, this is a big filter boss for a lot of people as the first kind of encounter in the game. There we go. That was a lot better. Now that I was ready. I got the longsword, so now I'm even stronger. Also, how's that for learning quickly, class? I think I did pretty good there. Just got up in his face. I can't tell if the sword is a little longer. Let me compare. No, I think it's the same. Yeah, Sam Raimi directed the new Doctor Strange film, Ranger, which is why I want to go see it. I liked the first Doctor Strange film, so hearing that the new one is a Sam Raimi movie makes me really want to see it. Oh, that's funny, El. Though that makes me think, did you ever see, thinking of Leslie Nielsen, movies of his that I think don't get nearly enough recognition are both Dracula Dead and Loving It and Spy Hard. Though I'm biased for Spy Hard just because of Weird Al singing the opening theme, which is brilliant. Am I threatening? What am I threatening, Emperor Spoon? Am I just threatening you? What are the balls for? Or should I threaten your balls specifically? Yeah, Dead and Loving It is super fun. It got panned. I'll say it in a threatening voice. Balls. Ah, Naked Gun series and airplane. Surely you must watch Die Hard or Spy Hard at some point. Yeah, I like Drag Me to Hell. That was a fun one. Actually, let's see if I can go back to town and if anyone's got anything new to say. Also, just to enjoy this field music for a bit. Let's see, can I talk to anybody in Redmont now? I also have a lot of money. Wonder if that'll do me any good yet. Actually, can I buy a better shield? So that'd be sweet. Oh no, I think this costs 6,000. Yeah, I cannot buy that yet. Yeah, but just thinking of that madcap directorial style, Sam Raimi is just... Oh man. Evil Dead 2 is one of those... Ooh, I'll buy that better armor though. Evil Dead 2 is one of those movies I can watch at any time, you know? Like, it's always enjoyable. Alright, we also have better armor now, so we're not quite so squishy. Can I buy the ring yet? No. Buy item. Which item? I don't know what the amulet does. Or the illusion mirror. I'm gonna buy it. Why not? I have the money. I think soon we'll be able to go to the boss of the mines. But I just want to see if anybody has anything new to say here in town. Now that I've found... Well, no, I've found Dewey. I haven't... Oh, is that my son's pendant? You're the person that rescued the miners. Take this ring. I don't want that to happen again. There we go. Now we've got a ring. Thank you, old lady. I didn't mean to swing my sword at you. That was very rude. Let's see. I don't know what the illusion mirror does. How do I activate? Oh no, the ring just starts going on its own when you equip it. Let's unequip that ring. But that will boost our defense. So that's good. That's really good. People from Wallenstein Castle are lurking around here. Okay, so people do have new dialogue now. Please, save Edgar. I'll try. No one's home. And what about Dogi? What's he up to in here? This is a nice room, Dogi. That's all you gotta say, Adol? You don't want to tell him about, you know, the crazy stuff in the mine that we saw Chester kick a man down a mine shaft? You don't think that's important information at all? Alright, I think we can go back to the mine and explore some more. I don't know why I'm jumping, it's just very satisfying to do. And we're also a lot stronger now. We've got better armor, we've got a better sword, we've got a shield ring we can use. We're in business. Let's remember to save. Very important. I like that you can functionally save anywhere in the game. You know, that there's no real... You know, I don't have to go to a certain save point or use an item. The game just lets me save my progress and get on with it. And I did test the battery backup on the cartridge does work. I was worried it wouldn't since this is just, you know, a repro cart. Right? I mean, some of my original cartridges still have good save files, even though the batteries are, you know, 30 years old. Though I have replaced plenty of those batteries in my time, you know, the CR 2032 watch batteries, essentially, that power the save in a lot of those old systems. Ooh, what is this? I got the power ring. All right, I have 2 different rings now. But that gate is locked. All right, so next time I come up against a boss, I'm going to equip that power ring and just nuke him. Just get at him. So now I think we should be able to go down to the, further into the mine to hopefully rescue Edgar. I do like how, you know, despite being 2D, the world still feels quite large and expansive. Like, this is a pretty big map for an NES game. Right? It feels like they're in that kind of bracket of good where they can charge whatever they would like for them because they know there's, you know, X amount of demand. There we go. The stairs are awkward in this game. Oh, now we can go farther down. I do wish that this had managed to have the animated backgrounds of the other versions, so that would look super cool, but I understand why it doesn't. That would really be pushing the NES pretty hard in order to do that. Other developers did manage it, but you know, I wouldn't expect that from everybody. Oh, we've got much tougher enemies down here. Slimes. They don't do much damage to me, but yeah, no, I usually order just like a sheet of them at once, you know, and then I'll have enough for like several years, which is usually how it goes. Oh, I gotta be careful not to walk into those guys. Let's save. I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked the second I walk through this door, but we'll find out. Oh, yep. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. That's a dangerous boss. So let's try that again. Now, this guy's pattern in the other versions of the game is about the same, but I think the overall game speed is just a lot faster. in this versus the Super Nintendo. I also am considering if I want to go restore my health. Oh, no, the illusion mirror I think helps me here. Hey, Arthur, how's it going? Okay, get out of the way of the lightning. Oh, wait, can I duck under that one? Yes, I can. Okay. Whoop, I got too close. So I need to jump close enough to hit him, run back, duck under the projectile, and then it should be okay. Let's load. I'm also considering I may want to just go recover my health. Yeah. Hey, Hyper Robots and Gurus, how's it going? I'm curious, how many of you have played Ys 3 in one form or another class? Actually, does the illusion mirror do anything here? I'm curious. Let's see. Let's look at an ancient game FAQs page. Let me check what the illusion mirror is even for. Oh, I think that freezes enemies. Ys Origin is really good. I highly recommend this series for anybody who hasn't played it. You know, maybe not this specific version, because it's, whoa, oh, that's fast. Can I get close enough to hit you, please? There we go. I've got to get it just right. Oh, that's awesome. So I've only played Super Nintendo, Genesis, a little bit emulated the Turbo CD version, and now the Famicom version, which I bought a repro cart of, and I am shocked at how fast. I am not annoyed, Fuzzgot Games. I won that race. Jones, I did pretty poorly in Noid 1 actually, but Jones choked super hard in Noid 2 to the point that my Noid 2 run was just clean and better than his. There we go. I think I've got it now. Oh, too close. Though I will say, Jones has done an amazing job on his Noid PNG that he set up. Okay, I think one more hit and I should be... There we go. Yeah, we both choked at our strong games. Though I'm looking back at the VOD, I'm reasonably certain Jones was also cheating in Noid 1 because his game was running markedly faster than mine, and even with that, he won by less than a minute in Noid 1. And we've got the sun statue now. See, that's one of the things I like about the Ys series, is that the boss fights are really hard, but you learn the pattern and then you execute and it feels great. You know, I won't say he was cheating. It could just be, you know, maybe his emulator was running a little fast. I don't know. I'm not going to make the accusation. I wasn't cheating, Fuzzgot. He did play via emulator. I play via real hardware. Mostly just because, you know, I have these games and stuff. And I will say, I'm very impressed at the overall quality of this repro cart for Ys 3. The translation's very good, the gameplay is great. I'm not making the accusation, I just noticed. Yeah, the emulator, I'm not saying that he did it on purpose, I'm saying the emulator might have just been faster. So I can't say for certain. If he was just making the game harder on himself for no reason. You know, making the game faster is just going to make it harder. Here we go. Do some careful, yeah, exactly, less reaction time. Do some careful platforming up here. He was also getting messed over by his computer just melting down trying to run both like Discord and Yonoid 2 at the same time. Or so he claims. I mean, I'm inclined to believe him. I've watched him play Yonoid 2 before. Though I did find out our our best times... Cheating only matters if you win. Our individual best times in Yonoid 2 are less than a minute apart for all stages with regular Noid. So he's not that much better at Yonoid than I am. Or Yonoid 2, that is. And I'm better at the final boss. Oh, I'm sure he got lag, but he also messed up. Before he even got the lag, he messed up the stage badly enough that he had to restart it. And that was when I pulled ahead. You know, he only entered the game like a minute before I did, and even if he didn't have that lag, I think I would have pulled ahead because I had a much cleaner final boss fight. Though he and I now have to race in the third Noid game that neither of us have played much of, called Avoid the Noid, released for MS-DOS in 1989, which is a single-screen platform. Yeah. It is indeed questionable. Look, I don't think they give out great computers down in Purgatory. It was a very, very fun race, though. I was not planning on hosting the race. Oh, I had a clock running on my side, Hardcore Hunter. I ran one. Oh god, I couldn't do well in a real-life pizza eating contest. I would get sick immediately. I would not enjoy that at all. Alright, let's go recover our health, and then I think, after having taken out this boss, what do I do now? What do I do now? That boss was not that bad. Oh, there's a door behind where he was. So I gotta go back to that boss room, and then I can save Edgar. Alright, I just wanted to restore my health, just in case. Also, even though we've only been playing for like an hour and a half, we're so much stronger than at the start of the game. Very satisfying. I've been trying to get Woozle to play Yonoid 2, and he refuses. I even said I would buy him a pizza if he played Yonoid 2, and he won't. He might still be traumatized from when he played Yonoid 1 with me on stream. Which I wouldn't blame him. He got folded. Which, he was allowed to use an emulator and save states, and I beat both Yonoid and its Japanese version in less time than it took him to beat the game with emulator and save states. Beat the game twice. In fairness, he had not played it before. I would like to start doing like a race series, like a VTuber version of Beat Bobby Flay, almost, where I will play games on real hardware and let people race against me using an emulator with save states, and see if I can't beat them despite that. I think that would be very funny. I would probably lose most of the time, but it would be funny. So if anyone wants to play like Contra and see if they can beat me on real hardware with themselves on emulator, I would have to look into the logistics of actually setting that up, but I think it could be fun. Also, what are Adol's legs made out of that he can just fall this far and be totally fine? Negaturkin, you'll beat me for sure. I've only played a few of the Turrican games, and I wasn't particularly good at them. Those were... I know the Megaturricans on, obviously, the Mega Drive, or Genesis, as I would call it. But didn't that mostly start on the Amiga? I feel like that was like an Amiga series. It has that European look and feel to it. There we go. Stop your interference, Edgar! Don't you realize what you're doing? You again! I told you before! You are not welcome here, you fool! I will spare you this once. But next time, your life is mine. I do like the way the story's incorporated into gameplay here. Who are you? I'm Adol. I heard you were trapped, so I came to rescue you. I thank you. Can you help me walk? We've limped back to town. Can't use the mine anymore. Edgar. You are Adol, right? Thank you for saving Edgar. Please let the villagers know he's safe. Excuse me, Dogi was looking for you. He's at the inn. Thank you, gardener. Now we're back to the town of Redmont. Can I afford any of the other swords yet? No, I cannot. Broadsword is 8,000. What about... No, the shield is 6,000, and I already bought the armor. So we're as upgraded as we're going to get for a bit. Let's see, what can I buy from the item shop? Buy... amulet. Yeah, let's do it. I don't know what it does, but I'm sure it'll be useful. And we've got some money, so why not, right? What does this person have to say to me? Okay, people from the castle are lurking around. Well, this was Grandma Ida's house. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Edgar, the village elder, has been acting strange lately. Is he? I mean, I just pulled him out of a mine filled with monsters, so that could explain it. Adol, you're just in time. I have a favor to ask. Elena, could you tell Adol what you just told me? I feel a bit awkward telling you this since I just met you today. It's my brother, Chester. He left 6 months ago. He now works for King McGuire. I've heard that Chester is at the Ilburn's ruins. And there are monsters there. I went there to search for him, but only found his pendant on the ground, so he must be there somewhere. It may be unrelated, but Pierre, our cleric, went there yesterday, and he has not returned. Adol, would you please go there and find him? And if you see Chester, could you tell him Elena is worried about him? I'm sorry to impose upon you, I haven't even introduced myself. I'm Elena Stoddart. Pleased to meet you. Thank you, Elena. Dogi's childhood friend. So now we've got a new location we can visit. So let's go to the Ilburn Ruins. Now, spoiler alert, because I already said his name before, Chester is that jerk we saw in the mines. But he's got some splaining to do. Yeah, no, it's got a really good story, and it's well incorporated into the game. Like, all versions of Ys have good stories, with well fleshed out characters. Also, look how sick this looks. You know, it's not as exciting as, you know, this... Actually, let's do the same comparison we did before. I'm going to pull the Super Nintendo version back up so you can see what it looks like by way of comparison, so that you can see that the NES version really isn't that far off. Let's go back to the... So this is back to the mines. You'll see the boss we just fought. So you can see the NES version is actually much faster. And I think a lot more challenging. You know, obviously the Super Nintendo version looks and sounds better. But as far as gameplay, I'm willing to say they are pretty even. So this was the boss we just fought. So now let's look at the ruins. Same story. Yeah, we've got awesome... Oh, looks like I can grind a level doing that. Maybe that'll work in the NES version. And yeah, you've got the nice parallax scrolling in town, which the NES version doesn't have. But the NES version could pull off multiple layer background scrolling through some clever hardware trickery. But unfortunately, this game doesn't have that. I wish it did. That would look awesome. But let's take a look. Yeah, so we've got some pretty cool parallax scrolling here. You know, a more animated volcano. But, you know, let's compare. It's not that far off. You know? Like, it's a really, really good NES port. You know, it's not often that games compare favorably across, you know, the 8-bit and the 16-bit versions. But in a way it makes sense, because originally this was for an 8-bit platform. It was a PC-88 title, initially. We've got these wizard jerks. Whoop. Oh, wow, that hurt a lot. I think I know what you mean, El. Like, the Genesis version has somewhat grittier looking graphics, if that makes any sense. I mean, that was true of a lot of Genesis games, just because of the differences in the color palette. Oh, wow! That did 32 damage, holy shit. I'm dead instantly. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna also pull up the Genesis version so you can see just what all the different versions look like. Yeah, it's a little rough, Spurbus. Here's Genesis version. Sounds awesome if you like that, you know, hard FM synth sound. Yeah, okay, here's the adjust it for the different screen resolution. This is what the Genesis version looks like. Oh, it goes so hard on it, Hanabi. I mean, the Genesis, in the hands of really good programmers, could do incredible things in terms of its audio. But most, you know, it wasn't nearly as flexible as the Super Nintendo, because the Super Nintendo used a sample-based chip made by Sony, where... Oh, Comic Zone is great. Whereas the sound chip in the Genesis, the Yamaha chip, is FM synth. So it's a very different sound. I mean, the Genesis is a higher sound quality, because the sample rate on the SNES usually had to be a lower bit rate so it could, you know, fit. But the Genesis was less flexible. I miss when there were real differences between game hardware. Yeah. The Sharp version looks great. Honestly, the original PC-88 version looks great too. I would like to get myself a copy of the Genesis version, but it's quite expensive. But pretty much, I think whatever version of this game you play, you're gonna have a good time. You know, even this, you know, Famicom version, I'm very impressed. Yeah, or, you know, if not research what version suits you best, just which console did you have, you know? But I feel like no matter what platform you were playing on, you were going to get a good version of Ys 3. Though, I will say, for the amazing music that the TurboGrafx CD version has, the gameplay is pretty choppy compared to the other versions. It's not nearly as... Oh yeah, today I think it's hard to say what the best way to play something like Ys 3 is. Because, you know, obviously most people will recommend Oath and Felghana because it's the most modern, but that's a pretty substantially different game. You know, it's got the same story and the same characters, but the gameplay style is completely different. Yeah, I think the Mega Drive version, Genesis version, is probably better overall than the Super Nintendo version, though I do really like the soundtrack on the SNES version. The Famicom version, I don't think has any reason to be anyone's first choice version. You know, it's objectively worse in a lot of ways, but I'm really enjoying it as it feels like a demake, almost, you know? Like a game made for more ambitious, you know, a game really made for more powerful hardware being forced to work on an older platform, and working quite well at that. Alright, we're gonna want to level up a bit. These guys are strong. Not sure when our next level up is. It might be 7,000. So we're gonna advance the screen slowly. Try to kill enemies before... Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now let's leave. So otherwise we're gonna get destroyed. Oh, barely. Oh, shit. Let me check. I know it does in some versions. I'm not sure about this one. I'm just kind of going on memory. Let's see. Next up, 6,000. Okay, we're quite close. And these guys do, And they do a ton of damage, but I think it would be faster to grind these guys than go back to the mine. How much is one of these fire guys worth? Come on. I thought there was supposed to be another. Okay, they're worth 34. Those are worth 25. Okay. So it won't take too long as I don't keep dying. As long as I don't keep doing as long as I don't keep doing exactly that. Though, thankfully, I'm not trying to beat this game in one sitting. You know, I think it's fair to let myself have more than a single evening to beat an RPG. I hope you agree with me, class. Yeah, this is why he was grinding those birds, but that's on the other screen, basically. Alright, so let's see if there's a better way for us to do this, because otherwise I'm going to keep dying and make no progress. Let me see if I can run through, and if I can get to the screen with the birds, if that same trick will work in this version. Because if that's the case, that'd be nice. So let's just try to run through here. Get jumped over, loser. Adol's got insane ups. Like, he's jumping like 12 feet vertical leap. Let's see. Can I get through? Oh, maybe. Maybe. Alright, let's save. That might be a mistake, but if it is, we're gonna have to fight our way out. Oh, we've got these whip guys. Wonder, well, can I find a single spot where birds will keep spawning? Hold on, what item did I just pick up earlier? No, I have one statue. What can I equip? Oh wait, shield ring. An amulet. Why not? Let's see, what does the amulet do in this version? Consult the ancient game FAQs guide here. Okay, no, it's a one-time use, so let's not bother with that. I don't think I have any ring power for the shield ring to help me. Okay, yep, that kills me. So I might want to go back to the mine to get to the next level. Because while the enemies are worth less, I also will have a better chance of killing them. Or wait, I could just do this. Tedious but reliable. Okay, now let's do this. Because then we get an HP refill when we level up. And this is a lot safer than attempting to run all the way back through this whack-ass tower. Yeah, exactly, the good old grind. This might sound weird, but when I'm playing, especially a turn-based JRPG, you know, every now and then you reach a moment where you're like, okay, now would be a good time to, like, grind out levels or grind up skill points or something like that, you know? And you can just, if you can settle in for the grind and get in that good rhythm, I don't know, something about it feels so satisfying to me. Especially in Dragon Quest games. Like, Dragon Quest XI-S was, I think, easily my top game of 2019 when it came out. Was that 2019 or 2020? I'm not sure. Either way, when that game came out, I could just get absorbed in just walking around and grinding for hours at a time. It was so satisfying to me. And I think it just scratches that part of my brain that likes to see numbers go up. Do you know what I mean? Like, number got bigger and I feel good. Because in some games, you know, if the combat is tedious or if the combat always requires a ton of attention, even normal encounters, having to grind feels terrible. You know, if it's a game where the combat is quick and snappy, grinding can feel really good. But when it's something where it demands a ton of attention, exactly, number go up, serotonin go burr. You've got it, Pinky. Oh. I don't know if you could hear that. That was my neck. But, you know, it's... I don't know. I think a good way to think of it is if your game has really in-depth combat mechanics where even regular encounters can lead to death if you're not careful, then your game should be balanced to not require grinding, to actively disincentivize grinding. But if your game has combat that's quick and snappy, then I think it's fine to expect a little bit of grinding because, you know, the grinding is there to make the game beatable by anybody. That was the whole point of it in the original Dragon Quest. You know, Yuji Horii wanted anybody to be able to see the end of the game with dedication. Yeah, exactly, Elle. It's like a little mental nap. Actually, speaking of, let's check. Next level 10,000. Let's see how the next screen is. But otherwise, that didn't take very long at all. And I don't really mind just running back and forth a bit. Yeah, because really, I would only have to kill... what, 40 of... oh, no, that might take a little while. 40 for 1,000 to get to, what is it, 10k? Yeah, let's move on and see how we do. I think we'll want to level up reasonably soon, but Mr. Belmont over here with his whip, get out of here. Okay, oh, that bird actually gave quite a lot of experience. I can kill it. Yeah, exactly. If you're a Dynasty Warriors fan, you're not allowed to have an opinion on a game being repetitive. I am also a Dynasty Warriors fan. Or rather, I like Warriors games when they're applied to other properties. Like, I really loved Hyrule Warriors and Age of Calamity. Those were excellent. But I do like, you know, a good Warriors game to just turn the brain off and see, you know, I've just hit 1,000 hit combo. That feels great. You know, I like that. That's satisfying in a way that's hard to articulate. So I wonder if I can get back through here safely now. Okay, no, that guy still does a ton of damage. Holy shit. And there's a lot of them here. Why don't I just wasted a bunch of health for no good reason. Let's go back to what we were doing. Now I've kind of locked myself into this. So actually, this is a good question. What are some of your favorite RPGs, class? Because I love RPGs, but I don't really plan to play many of them on stream, just because I don't... You know, this is different since it's kind of, you know, action-based and it's older. But, you know, some of my favorite retro RPGs are things like, you know, Final Fantasy VI, you know, Chrono Trigger, Dragon Age Origins. I liked Origins a lot. And then I played like 20 minutes of Dragon Age 2 and I said, this isn't for me. Also, how you doing, Rusty? Good to see you. The E-Series scratches that itch of like, you know, you've got the good story, the intriguing stuff, you've got killer music, great play control as a rule. I don't know, just scratches an itch for me. I didn't even try Inquisition. I should give it a chance. Excellent, Hazmat. Secrets of Mana, also excellent. I think my all-time favorite JRPG has gone on to be Skies of Arcadia and Skies of Arcadia Legends. You can kind of count them as one game. I adore that game so much. It hits all the right notes for me. Super satisfying to play. Just wonderful visuals, soundtrack, story. Everything about it. Just perfect. Can I get this guy? Oh, that was dangerous. Oh, no. Okay, I think it might be worth... Oh, might be worth going back to town to heal up a bit. That'll be a little dangerous, but... I think I have a strong bias towards RPGs and JRPGs where where people have a sunny disposition, you know, where it's not all doom and gloom. Because that's where, you know, the genre started for me. I think the first RPG I ever played was probably Final Fantasy Mystic Quest as a kid. Well, no, the first one I played was Dragon Warrior on NES, but I didn't really understand what I was doing. The first one where I knew what was going on was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which is really designed as baby's first RPG. You know, it was pretty much put out by Squaresoft to ease the American market into the concept of RPGs, and it's a super streamlined take on the Final Fantasy formula. But as a kid, I absolutely loved it because it gave me this feeling of being on an adventure that other games just didn't do. Oh, I was almost there. So I think because of that, I've always liked games where, you know, you can smile at the end of the day. Ooh, Echoes of Time. Was that one of the DS ones? Legend Jin? Because I know there were a few Crystal Chronicles spin-offs. Like, there was one on the Wii. That was Crystal Bearers, I think. I never played any but the original. But that was another one on the GameCube with really... The music did so much to sell that for me. You know, if your video game soundtrack features a crumb horn prominently, I'm gonna like your game. Crumb horn is a Renaissance reed instrument with a very distinctive sound that you'd recognize even if you don't know what is making that sound. I would love to get one, but kind of expensive. There are modern crumb horns you can buy, but that'll go on the list. Dark Cloud 2, amazing game. I also love Dark Cloud 1 because that's the closest anything came to recreating, like, ActRaiser in 3D. Yeah, also, I've just got to pull up, like, a crumb horn so people know what it sounds like. So this is what a crumb horn sounds like. It is a weird, crooked-looking instrument. Here's 3 of them playing together. That really distinctive pastoral sound. Because it was basically a peasant-type instrument. You know, very reedy, rich sound. And it features pretty heavily in Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. So let me find a track that uses it. Nah, that's too much work. Yeah, it gives you that. Spice and Wolf is a good example, Rusty. It's that, like, pastoral sound, you know? What a good soundtrack that game has. All right, I'll stop going on a medieval instruments tangent. Though this just reinforces my desire to do a drunk history of the trombone Zatsudan at some point. Would anyone like to listen to me rant for hours about the history of the trombone? Because I will. Don't threaten me with a good time. Ooh, Terranigma is a good one. That one, it's so upsetting that it didn't come out in the US. It came out in Europe because we got the other 2 games by Quintet on the Super Famicom. We got, you know, Soul Blazer and Illusion of Gaia. I know I've mentioned it before on Stream Class, but do you want to learn a funny word today? It is the medieval version of the trombone. Before it was called a trombone, it was called a sackbut. Which, yeah, foes, it's East time. This is the Famicom version of East 3, but translated into English. And on real hardware. Yeah, the sackbut, from the French words for push and pull, was the medieval version of the trombone. Oh yeah. Though at the same time, while they got a lot of exclusive games that were excellent that we never got, they also got mounds and mounds of terrible licensed games. No, foes, it was about $50 for a reproduction cartridge with the game in English. So it wasn't too bad. That's just the price of a new video game, which is fair because I bought a new video game. That's how I look at it. I really should buy the tools to make, my own reproduction cartridges, essentially. Like a ROM dumper. Because you could even you could take an actual Japanese copy of the game and patch it, essentially. You could, desolder the ROM cartridge from the board, you would put it into a, interface with your PC, and then you can actually apply a patch to the actual hardware, the program ROM and character ROM. Yeah, but I'm fine with reproductions, especially for games that never came out in a territory. Like I just ordered a repro cart of Adventure Island 4 the other day, which was the last officially licensed Famicom title. And we got solder or solder. I kind of find myself saying both. I grew up with my dad saying solder. But it's just, I'm not actually sure which is correct. I would need to look that up. Also, we're just going to grind to the next level. We're only 2,000 experience points away from it. And I don't have enough health to run through the rest of this castle. I am a GIF guy, Hanabi, and I will tell you why. So, I'm gonna say right up front that as much as I hate to say this, both versions, GIF and GIF, both are correct because linguistics are not prescriptive, they are descriptive. So even though I think there's no good argument whatsoever for using the soft G, the J sound for GIF, I think there's no good linguistic argument for it, but because enough people say that, it has become an accepted usage. The reason that I am a proponent of a hard G for GIF is because if you look at all near neighbor words to it, I don't say that somebody gave me a Christmas gift. They gave me a Christmas gift. Words like gin come from the word juniper, which is correctly spelled with a J. The only other instance... it doesn't matter what the creator calls it. He named it after a pun, and it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter that it's an acronym, because, plenty of other things are acronyms that we don't pronounce in the same way. But I think there's no good linguistic argument for a soft J there, and I have had like a multiple hours long cited source argument going through every word that starts with G and is followed by a vowel in the English language to come up with how many are hard G versus soft G, and which ones are with an I or not. One of the only other, I think a good argument against the soft G would be that a lot of English words that were originally pronounced with that soft G, the J sound, the J, which if you're doing like IPA is more like DZJ, J. One of the only other English words that started with that followed by a vowel was jail, which used to be spelled G-A-O-L. So if you're ever playing, Elden Ring, and you see one of those Everjails and wonder why does it say Evergaol or something, because it's spelled like that, the pronunciation is jail. G-A-O-L used to be jail in English, until it was much more sensibly respelled the way like it sounds. So there's arguments for both sides. I am a hard G GIF guy. I will tell you that I think you're wrong if you're a soft G, GIF guy, even though technically you are, technically both are correct because linguistics are not prescriptive, they are descriptive. It's why, unfortunately, the word literally also means virtually, because enough people use it that way that it becomes an accepted meaning. Whether that's degradation or evolution of a language is subjective. That's up to your point of view. Basically, I am a GIF guy. From my first time ever seeing it, I looked at it and just immediately said GIF. Of all the people I know who say GIF, their reason for saying it is because the creator said that's how it's pronounced. It's an appeal to it doesn't matter at all, Pinky. It's the most useless argument in the entire world, which is why it's fun. You know, arguments that don't matter are ones that you can have a lot of fun with your friends. You know, because it's not about something actually contentious. Yeah. Absolutely, Hanabi. I mean, this is an argument I've had with... Yeah, exactly. They're arguments that don't matter, and that's why they're fun. You know, because you can choose your hill and die on it, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly, El. That's why they're fun, you know? Or it's like, is a taco a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Actually, hold on. I gotta make a poll right now. Also, I'm gonna save the game because I'm so close to a level up, and if I die right here because I'm talking about if hot dogs are sandwiches, I'm gonna absolutely want to die. Let me... Okay. Okay, you can't put the word fuck off as an answer in a poll, I just found out. A hot dog is 100% a sandwich, because if you say a grinder, or, you know, a sub is a sandwich, then you have to say that a hot dog is a sandwich. Okay, so Pinky, you are a... Bring it on, Hanabi. Bring it on. I am ready to defend my hot dog stance.
Hello.
Thank you for the sub, folks. I really appreciate it. I am willing to make my justifications. Now, Pinky, if you were saying that even a pizza is a sandwich, I think that means you are... I've seen an alignment chart for sandwiches, which is ingredient purist and structural purist are the two axes. Thank you, foes. Yeah, I'm a hard G kind of Jai. If you've got a complaint about the hard G and GIF, go complain to Jod about it. That's my stance. A pizza is a pie, Rusty. I don't know, Spurbus. If someone handed me... Now, see, Cheechin, my question is, did you, when you first saw the word GIF, when you first saw that, did you look up how to say it, or did you intuitively say it as that? Hey, Ringe. Oh, you're playing Strange Journey. Hell yeah. Welcome on in, Raiders. For those of you who don't know, my name is Professor Bloom. I do lots of singing. I play lots of retro games on real hardware. Okay, so Izumikyo, a McChicken is a sandwich because burgers are also a sandwich. Now, see, El, I've got to ask, you know, if that's the case, do you feel that a grinder, you know, a Subway, a submarine sandwich, do you feel that that is not a sandwich? Because the bread is connected. That's my question. So I need to remember to unequip this ring, because it keeps draining on me. Yes, welcome on in, everybody. I am playing Ys 3 for the NES. It's a very fun version of an excellent game. I'm gonna say that they should not... What, Strange Journey or this? Strange Journey... Don't call Strange Journey crusty and old, because then I'm crusty and old. I am crusty and old, and I've accepted that, but... Yeah, a burger is a subgenre of sandwich. Now, sandwiches, if we're talking like, you know, genus versus species, you know... They're all related, they're on the same family tree, is my stance on it. Thank you, foes. Alright, let's see if... Oh, God! Alright, these wizard dudes are deadly. Let's remember to say, if it's between bread, it's a sandwich. is a calzone then a sandwich, Rusty? You know, how far can we push it? I mean, I'm just thinking of that, you know, Gordon Ramsay slapping bread on the side of somebody's head and saying, "What are you?" and making them say, you know, an idiot sandwich. Voices below? Got more story. Here, what are you doing here? I'm simply lost. You're a bad liar. You were looking for the statues, eh? It seems we have a spy above us. You're the swordsman I saw in the mine. I warned you not to show your face again. Oh shit. A jelly donut's a sandwich. No, a jelly donut is a rice ball, obviously. If Pokemon's localization is to be believed. You must be Chester, right? How do you know my name? Elena is worried about you. I see. But this is my life. And it is neither your nor Elena's business. Farewell. Dude just kicked me into a volcano. Also, how sick is this? You know, like, we're exploring and then suddenly, like, the story intrudes. Yeah, it's either, like, structural purist, ingredient purist, structural rebel. You know, it's an amazing chart. If anyone has it, please feel free, link it in the chat. Also, just more kick-ass music here. The game is so good. Oh, we're dying. I think there's an herb pretty nearby here, though. So we should be able to get our health refilled. Can we kill these flaming birds? Yes, we can. Thank you, Pinky. Oh god, we're getting murdered. I think there is that health restoring herb. Yeah, it's right up here. There we go. Excellent. Man, this sounds so much like the Metroid jingle that it really messes with me. Wait, where's the herb? How do I use it? Oh wait, start button is how I use it. There we go. It's weird having to hit select to pause and then start to, It's so similar, Hanabi. I played them back to back before. You're a radical sandwich anarchist. Let me look at the chart and see where I personally stand. I think I have to be true neutral, because I think saying a burrito is a sandwich is pushing it too far. At the same time, though, yeah. So I would need to check the first version of Ys 1 Hanabi, but that came out in '87, and I think the Famicom Disk System version of Metroid came out in '86. They came out very nearly at the same time. Yeah, see, I'm looking at a chicken wrap, and I feel like a chicken wrap is definitely in the broad family of sandwich. Yeah, wraps are considered sandwiches. I think they might be. Okay, so Elle, you would be an ingredient rebel structural purist then. Because, I mean, ice cream between waffles is an ice cream sandwich. That's what it's called. You know, I have a hard case accepting anything else. It's a contentious debate. How'd that bird get down there that fast? Oh, they can teleport. Well, because we've got a source for those healing herbs, I think we can grind up to the next level here reasonably safely. So I don't think we need to yet. We're doing pretty well on health. Is a waffle not bread, though? That's tough, because then you've got the question of, is a tortilla bread? And I feel like if I say yes, I might, you know, have have a lot to answer for the next time I talk to any of my Mexican friends. You know, I'm not confident saying a tortilla is bread. I think a tortilla is bread adjacent, but I would not call it bread. Even though it's made of the same stuff, you know, it's often wheat and water, or, I mean, corn, but then you've got cornbread too, so all definitions are arbitrary. All definitions are purely a construct of, you know, our need to classify things. There is no one true platonic form of a sandwich, much as we wish there was. Actually, that's a question. What do you think of in your mind's eye when someone says, picture a sandwich? What comes to mind first? What is your internal definition of a sandwich? I'm curious. You've got a point, Pinky. A turkey club, very good sandwich. But is that the sandwich? You know, if you, in your mind's eye, what must a sandwich include? I think for me it might be the humble peanut butter sandwich. It's just what comes to mind if you say the word sandwich. That's about as simple as it gets. But I think that's where my brain goes. French bread, ooh, mayo and mortadella. That's good. That's a comfort food. Meatball sub is where your brain goes with sandwich, Xavier. Really? Peanut butter and jelly. Exactly, Kendra. That's like, it's a sandwich, you know? It doesn't get much simpler than that. So these warping fire chickens are pretty annoying. Yeah, Cheechin, that's only because the British do crimes against food. They conquered half the world for spices and then don't use them. That's called a toast sandwich. And it's a crime. Look up toast sandwiches, class. It's the worst thing. I tried one once because I couldn't believe that was a thing that the British do, but it is. And it's not good. It's toast buttered between two pieces of bread. What's wrong with them? Well, no, not... I hate to break it to you, Hanabi. I hate for you to find out this way. So, I will say, so I've been to the UK, I've been to England and Wales, I've not been to Scotland or Northern Ireland. But I have had quite a lot of... Yeah, a chip buddy is a classic, and I will say, I've had one, and it's good. That's not true, foes. The Spanish know how to cook. I'm also willing to say, if not cook, the Germans know how to preserve things in really tasty ways. I love pickles. And I've been to Germany and enjoyed a lot of German cuisine. Ooh, that's good, Al. That's just a solid breakfast sandwich type thing. Yeah, the Chip Buddy is a classic. It does upset me that the British butter every single sandwich they have. That seems excessive. That seems unnecessary to me. You know, maybe that's just me. I don't need everything slattered in... Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not foes, but... That's true. And every nation doesn't have any, you know, there's no one food culture in a nation because everything's highly regionalized. You know, like the food in one part of Germany is going to be very different from the food in other parts of Germany. I don't think it's as salty as even American food, honestly, Elle. Americans cram everything full of sugar, salt, and fat. Like, to excessive degrees, and I didn't really realize it until I moved out of the US for a while and realized, oh, my taste buds are fried to expect just one thing. And then, you know, when you reset them, when you try American food again, you're like, this is way too salty, too sweet. Like, the bread is like cake. I mean, didn't Subway lose a court case, I think, in Ireland, where they could legally not call their bread bread because of the sugar content? Yeah, exactly, Pinky. I mean, it's all down to, you know, what's the region you're from. That's where your food comes from. I've got an item equipped, so we'll be at the next level pretty soon. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, El. And I only saw, a few cities in Germany. I can't pretend like I have, great experience, vast experience with its food culture. So I did very much enjoy the time I spent there. I spent a couple weeks across Berlin, Munster, and Cologne in English. It was nice. It was very nice. Oh, sorry, I just said where I was. Sorry. I will say, having real Kolsch, the beer, was wonderful. There are things in the US that say they're, Kolsch inspired, but legally they cannot be considered as such. Because Kolsch only comes from that geographic region. I think that was my favorite city that I visited in Germany, though. It was really lovely. Let's go get ourselves another herb. Oh, yes. No, there's some specific American beers that are just, specifically trying to be Kolsch. Most American beers are just really watery lagers. Things have improved a lot, though, in the past 10 years. Because local breweries are a thing again. For a long time. Well, I drank lots of other German beer, too, but, that being the regional specialty, I had to have it. I will say, it was enjoyable. Also, it's very, very kind of the game to let us just harvest as many herbs as we like here. It's very nice. It is, thankfully, quite easy to get lots of German beers in the US. So that's nice. The beer market is so different now than it used to be. Yeah, exactly. You've always got to try whatever, the local specialty is. I will say, so I lived in Korea for a few years. Oh yeah, currywurst. Immediately. My Berliner friends were like, you have to go try currywurst. Like, there's even a currywurst museum, though I didn't go there. It's to the point that I want to just try making it at home to give to friends because it's just so good. It's not particularly good for you, but it's very tasty as a snack. Yeah, that's where it's, most famous, right? Oh, one thing I'm very glad, the last time I was in Germany, I had to endure one of the worst airports I've ever been to in my life, which is thankfully demolished now. I have not had Rausch beer. That sounds good. I'd certainly like to try it. But one of the worst airports I've ever been to in my life was Berlin-Tegel Airport. Just a horrible, horrible airport that I'm so glad it's demolished now. Oh yeah, doner kebab. I wish kebab places were popular in the US because I can think of almost no better, like, late night, you're drunk, you need something to eat kind of food than that. It's perfect. It's perfect for that. Alright, we're very nearly at the next level, and then we will move on. I imagine a speedrun of this game must be very fast with someone who's just good at avoiding all the enemies and doesn't have to grind. But it's pretty satisfying doing this. There's lots of good, drinking foods. One of my favorites in Korea is dakbal, which is chicken feet. Oh yeah, I don't know that the airport they've replaced it with is any better, L, but I can't imagine it being worse. Because Tegel Airport was one of the most shockingly incompetent laid out places I've ever been in my life. It's just like, how? How is this? You know, when you think of Germans and design and engineering, you think of things that are very efficient, very well laid out. But no, it was like a terrible series of hexagons that made no sense, just interconnecting. Just no... Oh god, I hated it so much. Alright, we're very nearly at the next level. Yeah, overcomplicated. I mean, I drive a German car. I like it a lot. You know, I wouldn't... I wish it was a little cheaper to maintain compared to, you know, Japanese cars I've had in the past. But it's nice. It's just a Volkswagen Golf. It's very simple. Yeah, I know the new one was supposed to open years and years ago and just never did because of all the mismanagement. So they had to keep using the old one long after it outlived its, you know, usefulness, really. But man, now I'm trying to think, what are the best and worst airports I've been to in the world? I particularly dislike Chicago O'Hare in the US. I don't think it's particularly a bad airport, it's just very large and unpleasant. Hey Jones, how's it going? Talking about terrible airports. I'm trying to think airports that I like, that I was surprised by how nice they were. Suvarnabhumi Airport in Thailand is really nice. It's massive, but it's got a very light, airy kind of interior. And it's quite nice. And also had lots of public accommodations like Wi-Fi, you know, benches you could sleep on, because I ended up having to stay overnight in that airport because of a missed connection. There's a bunch of airports I've slept in. The nicest airport I've ever slept in was probably Tokyo Narita Airport in Japan. That, they even bring out, like, staff will come around with sleeping bags for people who are, you know, stuck overnighting it in the terminal. It's very, very nice. You know, little blankets, basically. Whereas in the US, Reagan International Airport, I thought the terminal was supposed to be open 24/7, but they kicked me out into the baggage claim and told me to sleep there. That's a big difference in US and Japan hospitality at airports. Alright, if we get up to the next level, we will have an herb and full health. We'll be there soon. And we'll go keep exploring what's in this sick-looking volcano. I do wish the background in this game was animated. That would really kind of bring it up to the next level, but yeah, it's true. No, they place a very high value on service. Probably also helps that, you know, you can... I need to look up what the wages are, but it's not considered undignified, you know, to work service jobs. Which, the one that made me sleep in baggage? No, I did not. It's not worth it. Alright, we've leveled up. Let's move on. Kill these stupid fire chickens. Let's save. Then I think let's get to the next boss fight and then probably call it a night. Have actually a multi-part stream for a game that's not a rematch. just playing the game. Because doing... Oh, here's the next boss. But where is the boss? Oh, this thing's sick looking. Let's equip a ring. Let's also have our item ready. Get the power ring on. Oh, we've got a dope dragon to fight. No, I don't think... Well, this would probably be a good speedrun game, but I don't want to speedrun it. Would that I could. Okay, I think I've got this pretty much in the bag. Yep, foes. This came out in 1991. Got him. That wasn't so bad. Now we've got a bunch more experience. There we go. So we survived. Oh, and we got the Fire Dragon Amulet. We survived getting kicked down into a volcano by an evil bastard. I've played Lagoon Jones. It's not very good. Lagoon is also frustrating because it's the kind of game that clearly could have been a lot better than it was. Ugh. You know, like, it's the kind of game where if you make a few tweaks, it's like, okay, I see the potential. Because it's, I mean, it's pretty similar to the Ys games. It was a clear, you know, rip-off of Ys. Yep. I mean, the attack range in this is short, but it's manageable. You know, and the controls are super tight and responsive, not like a half-second input latency like I remember Lagoon being. Only thing Lagoon's got going for it is a good soundtrack. And this is still better. Also, class, since we've been daring to compare different versions of this game, let's take a look at what that fire boss looks like on both the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis versions. Let's take a look. Let's find... There it is. Oh no, so that's the area we just were. Honestly, the Super Nintendo version doesn't look that much better. Visually. Yeah, oh, Brainlord. I remember seeing that on the SNES Drunk YouTube channel. It looks awesome. There were a lot of action RPGs that just never came out in the West. Like, Alcahest is another one that I really want to get my hands on. Yeah, the SNES version isn't that much beyond this, you know? Yeah, no blast processing. I mean, hold on, I can pull up the, Genesis version so we can continue daring to compare. And that one does have a killer soundtrack, though. Alright, here's the Genesis version, same area. I like that line scrolling effect for the heat shimmer. That's something the Super Nintendo version should have had. Yeah, it's a good game, Lyles. And here's the boss we just fought. Looks a lot cooler on Genesis, and looks like he has an even easier pattern. I miss recording gameplay footage to VHS tape. I still have a tape somewhere from probably 30 years ago of when my uncle first got his Super Nintendo. He went through like Pilot Wings and F-Zero and recorded all the like funny ways to die that he could think of. And, you know, it was just like an hour of him crashing every single thing in the game. And I used to just watch that over and over because we didn't have the Super Nintendo yet. I've got to say, though, the NES version, the Famicom version of this, does compare quite favorably to its 16-bit cousins. It's still super playable. Controls are even faster, honestly. Looks good for NES. Sounds great. You know, it's finding it hard to find anything to really knock in this version. Wait, can I pick up more than one herb, or did I already use one? Okay, no, I've just got one. We're pretty close to another level up, too, but we'll move on for now. We don't need to grind it. Whoop. Some of the enemies can be a little hard to see. That or I'm just blind. I do also like that faux depth effect. You know, seeing background versus foreground with those flames there. These teleporting fire chickens are annoying, though. I think we'll use that amulet to get ourselves out of here. Almost there. Honestly, we can just run through. We don't need to stop and fight everything. Adol holds out the fire dragon amulet. The river of lava solidifies. Yay! Can move on. Yeah, used to do, you know, the video out from your game system into the VCR and then the VCR into the TV. Yeah, but I like calling it a fire chicken. Also, I wasn't able to find a scan of the Famicom version of the manual. I'm sure they're called the same thing in every version, but it would have been nice to see. The US version didn't name all of the enemies. We can just go around spanking these guys. Oh yeah, Nuna, I've still got a CRT with a VCR hooked up to it. It's a really good CRT. I would never get rid of it. Also because it weighs like 100-something pounds. I don't want to be moving it all the time. It is a pain to transport. It's worth it, so I can play, you know, older games and they look the way they should. Especially old, like, light gun games. Oh, there's Elena. You're safe. What are you doing here? Listen, someone's coming. There's Chester, Elena's brother. What was that noise? Oh, I also have an Atari 7800L. I have not tried hooking it up to my stream capture setup. I don't think it would work well. No, I don't own CRTs exclusively for Melee. Chester, what is wrong? I thought I heard something. I must have imagined it. Well, they've got just excellent response time and contrast. You know, they really are the ideal thing for old games. So, not slim foes, it's flat panel glass. The thing's still, you know, extremely thick. It's from 2002 or so. And it was JVC's high-end iArt, it was called. It could support up to 1080p, or 1080i resolution over component, and 480p on component. Looks fantastic. Progressive scan enabled. It's a really nice TV. Pierre seemed to know of our plan, so I will lock him in the dungeon. Chester's a jerk. Lord Garland. Yes? The fire dragon, Giran, was defeated. What? I'll be right there. How are these guys keeping a fire dragon captive? Chester, can you not kill a simple boy? Forgive me, my lord. Oh, yeah. Well, because you had kind of a natural, you know, the softness of the picture helped, you know, games. What is this room? It gives me the creeps. Hey, what's that? Looks like a statue. I'll go see. What is this? Yeah, it's also nostalgic. Yeah, Chester's super tall in this Jones. I mean, that or Adol is just a manlet, because Dogi is also very tall. What is this? Some kind of switch. Adol placed his hands over the light. Elena, look! It must be the path to the statue. Elena, you should go back to town. Why? I don't know if I'll be able to protect you. It really is, Nuna. Alright. So going back to town seems dangerous. Like, all the bad guys were just outdoors. Please be careful. Let's save here. Well, let's go just a little further. I keep getting hooked. But let's see. I think we just have another boss fight coming up. Let's see if we're strong enough. Actually, let's get our unequip that, equip our healing herb if we need it. Stage looks so cool. Loving the, like, I do wish the lava was flowing. Like, that would look awesome. Oh, yep. We've got a dragon to fight. Come here. Come here. I got something for you. It's a sword. Love if this guy would come in range. Oh. Let's get him. Oh, come on. Come on. Come here. Come here. Oh, so close. Neither of us had hit each other a single time. There we go. All right. I think I've got him in a pattern. There we go. This won't be bad at all. Maybe we can even get a level up out of it. All right. I don't know if he's...
Hello!
Hey, thank you for the follow, Kendrick.
Hello!
Much appreciated. Adol's just... Imagine watching this unfold. Like someone just jumping over and over straight into a dragon, climbing back up to the top of a rock, and then just launching himself at it.
Hello!
Hey, thank you, Lias.
Hello! Hello!
Much appreciated. Also, sorry that the alert sound is so loud. I need to readjust that. Alright. Well, I guess just settle in for a little more of this. Sounds like something a dwarf would do. I love reading, like, dramatizations of people's Dwarf Fortress campaigns. You know, like the crazy things that their dwarves have gotten up to. You know, like a dwarf mother surfing over spikes on one of her babies. So let's restore our own health. Having that healing herb going into this was really, really helpful. Yeah, simple pattern. This one I think is even easier than the fire guy. But grinding those levels earlier really makes a difference. I feel like if I didn't do that, this guy would be much, much more difficult. Or that if I just got hit, it would be a recipe for disaster. Okay, I think he's low enough I can just launch myself and not worry about getting hit. Or I would be able to. I got greedy. Yeah, those help. Oh, missed the jump. Jumping is a little weird. It's a little floaty feeling. Got him! I like that death sound. Oh, we're so close to the next level. Oh, and we have more than enough gold for buying the armor and sword upgrade in town when we go back. Let's head back that way. That big beep that means you won the fight. The best sound there is. And we can hop our way back through here. Jumping is really funky in this game. Like, if you hold it down, you do... Oh no! It's Chester! Impressive! It seems that I underestimated you. Therefore, I must attend to you myself. Chester, stop! Also, that drawing his sword animation was smooth. That looked nice. Elena, what are you doing here? I'm the one who asked Adol to try to stop you. Please. I must have my revenge. Don't you remember what happened on that day? Please, stay out of this. I don't want to fight you, Adol. Yeah, right? I would be a little more surprised by that. Adol, let's go back to town. Also, there really is a remarkable amount of story in this game. Adol, I'm going out for a while. Where are you going? To visit my old master at the Eldarn Mountains. Oh, Edgar wanted to speak to you. His house is next to the inn. Dogi is a bro. Big time bro. Let's go buy better equipment, though. What would you like? Oh, a lot of them, absolutely. Broadsword, 8,000 gold. I'll take it. And then let's buy that better shield. I don't, the Edge Boy. So, well, that was close. I almost, almost nuked you. Get that large shield. Get ourselves equipped. We've just spent all our money. Let's get it all equipped. We've become even stronger. I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that, Edge Boy. No offense. Also, we're so close to the next level up. I'm just gonna go find some enemies that I can quickly level up on. I mean, it is funny. You had me for a second. I very nearly pulled the trigger. Just because it's one of those things where you see the first, phrases and you're like, oh, okay, one of these. But I'm glad I didn't. Good to see you. Alright, we've just got a couple more enemies and then we'll be up to the next level. And that seems like a pretty natural stopping point for the night. Because I think we're about halfway through the game, if I'm remembering right. And it's not one of those games where I am challenging myself to beat it in a single sitting like I do with other high-challenge NES games. We're doing something different. We're doing a nice, relaxed, normal playthrough of a video game. Fancy that, class. Instead of pushing myself to the limits of my sanity to see if I can beat a game in one go. Though I have picked up a bunch of games recently to play on stream that I think you will be excited to see, class. No, before I end stream, I'll show you a couple of the games I've picked up recently. Also, there we go, we've leveled up. Let's just head on back to town and make a save. Yeah, right, Jones? Generic male backlogger playing 30-year-old Famicom games. Can't even catch up to the modern day. At least I'm not in a hoodie. That's it, I need a hoodie alt. Then I'll really, really take off. Back to Redmont. Let's save. There we go. Alright, so we are about halfway through East 3. It's an excellent game. Let's take a look at some of the other NES games I've picked up recently, though. There we go. Let's see. Ooh, I've got a couple good ones here. Or good of, some are questionable. It's called Redmont. Yeah, okay. Here are some... Yeah, right? Gotta have the 3-day unshaven look. Here's a couple games I've picked up recently. Two of which are really good games that I just never had growing up. That I think would be... One for sure is an excellent challenge. The other's just a good game. Oh. Joys of hardware. Hold on. Here's some cartridge blowing ASMR, class. Apologies if that's super loud. Oh, come on, game. Don't be like this. Please work. Almost. Come on. Might need to take this cartridge apart and do a deep clean. Let's see. So my NES cartridge slot is, like many, failing badly. Games need to be at a very specific angle to read consistently. Well, let's just try one of the others. So this isn't one that I think I'll play on stream, because it might be a little too long, but it's one I always wanted to play. Oh, come on. You're nearly there. How'd the system just work for 3 hours and now it's giving me trouble? There we go. Whoops. Or we'll just go for that glitch core aesthetic. There we go. So this is probably one of the best licensed games on the NES that I always wanted and never could find a copy of until very recently, which is the video game adaptation of Willow. It was a movie tie-in game, but it was made by Capcom, and it's basically like an almost Zelda-style adventure with lots of RPG elements. Yeah, that was the sound of me blowing on the cartridge, Lyles. But this game has great graphics and sound. It was made by Capcom. It was pretty late. Or no, I think it was about 1990, so middle of the NES life cycle, really. And it's a delightful movie. And the game is a really nice adaptation. I was playing this a little earlier, not on stream. But it looks great, it sounds great. I mean, it almost looks like a Super Nintendo game in places. But, you know, you talk to villagers, you see, you know, what to do. You've got to leave Nelwyn, you've got to go to do. You know, it follows the movie, more or less. It's also a delightful movie. That was when, I don't know, it's hard to describe the feeling that, like, fantasy movies used to have. They used to be fun. They used to feel like you were on an adventure. You know, get advice from everybody. Let me just get the sword. Yeah, anytime, Cheechin. Have a good one. Did you meet Von Carr, the best swordsman in the village? He should be preparing the finest weapons for you. Oh, that would be awesome, Lyles. Our sprite doesn't quite look like Warwick Davis, but they tried. There's quite a lot of depth in this game, it feels like, though, from the little I played earlier. And I just love how it looks. Like, the graphics are excellent for NES. Yeah, let's get the sword, because there's two different ways to attack. One of which is a quick stab, and the other is a nice swing attack. And you level up, you know, you get experience when you hit enemies. Let's equip our longsword. Yeah, so if you don't move and hit B to attack, you have this really nice swing animation. Or you can point in a direction and stab. But it's really nice animation. And yeah, that is a shame, Hardcore Hunter. Because he's what made those movies so much fun. You know, they're not... I wouldn't call the Leprechaun films high quality, but man, they're fun to watch because of him. Nobody's home. Quotation marks around everything except dialogue. No, that's how you're supposed to do it, right, Jones? But just look at how smooth that animation is. It's nice. The combat itself isn't anywhere near as fast-paced as even, like, Legend of Zelda. But it follows the movie, it looks great, the soundtrack's great. It was Capcom, sorry. Capcom almost couldn't make a bad game back then. Like, everything they put out was good, even just a little movie tie-in like this, which they turned into quite a grand adventure. Cap Konami. Honestly, those two companies, alongside Nintendo, had almost no bad games between them. It was insane. And, you know, Konami had maybe the hardest fall from grace of pretty much any video game company I can think of. You know, their transition from the 16-bit era to the, 32-bit era was rough. Was really rough. Like, I'm tempted to pick up a copy of, like, C, the Contra Adventure, just to see how bad it is. But I feel like I would just get depressed. I feel like I would just make myself sad. Let's get a little combat so you can see what that looks like. Now we leave the town. And when combat happens, it's kind of at random. But you've got this nice wind effect going on. Makes things look really exciting. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Companies had to make actual good games to sell. I mean, in Japan, the Famicom nearly fell victim to, the Atari problem of tons of crap licensed games. When it became apparent that the Famicom was a hit around '84, you had companies just doing a gold rush to get in on it, and there were tons of terrible games put out. Speaking of which, I might have some of those coming in the mail soon, because I ordered a lot of 20 random Famicom games. I have no idea what they are. They might be terrible. We'll find out. Oh, I haven't Hardcore Hunter. But so I will have a stream at some point in the near future where I'm going through 20 completely random Famicom games that I have no idea what they're going to be. So that should be a lot of fun. Willow here, I don't know if it would make for a good stream game since it is, like a linear adventure title. I forgot to equip my magic. That's why it wasn't working. But this is a game I'm looking forward to playing, if not on stream, then by myself, because it seems like a delightful adventure. But it might be Jones, who knows? If it is, then I'll just sell it to some friends. Let's see, one game I picked up because it seems like, how did this game come out in the US? Is Puss in Boots: Perrow's Great Adventure. And what this game is it's one of the lowest quality platformers I think exists on the NES in like a really endearing way. So this came out in 1990. This stars as its main character Toei Animation's mascot character. And I remember there was an episode of Captain N with Perrow in it. But, I mean, just look at this. It is one of the most insanely poorly made looking games I've ever seen. It's also extremely short. It takes like 15 minutes to beat. Also, you move faster when you're jumping for some reason. You have 3 different weapons you can use, one of which is just a gun. Gun, bomb, and boomerang. The whole game is like this. It's just... And this actually came out in the US, which is super weird to me. Because it's like, but why? Why would Toei Animation bother to license this game for US release? And keep in mind, by 1990, we had games like, Willow. Games of vastly higher quality. So, I don't know, I was just fascinated with this. I'm like, how does this exist? How is this real? And not only how is it real, because I could understand if this was a game that came out for the Famicom in 1985. A licensed mascot platformer. But this came out in 1990 in the US. And looks like it's 5 years older than it is. Like, it's objectively bad in a way that's really interesting to me. If that makes any sense. It's a completely mindless game to play, too. Like, I couldn't do a stream of this because it would be over in 20 minutes. But, I mean, just look at this. It's ridiculous. And it's pretty easy as well. It's not like it's a because there's some games that are really challenging, but if you're, incredible at them, you can beat them in 20 minutes. Yeah, this is just... I was so fascinated by this that I needed to get a copy. It's really bad. Like, there's no way around it, but it's bad in a way that I find charming, if that makes any sense. It's not like bad in a this is horrible and I hate it way. It's bad in a, like, it's almost cute how bad it is. Because it feels like they understood, like, okay, you know, there's some variety. We've got different, you know, levels or whatever. You know, I'm in a boat, I'm in a submarine. You're in an airplane later on. You're in a hot air balloon. But they forgot to make, like, a good, fun game to play. There were several Beavis and Butthead games, Lyles. I don't have any of them, though. I know it's Strange Logic Ranger, but it's like, this game is so clumsy that I can't help but like it, despite it being objectively quite bad. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I recognize that. It also has, to change weapons, you have to pause and then choose your weapon. Yeah, it's like a kid's drawing. It's like, why is this the boss? I don't know. I think technically this was like an anime tie-in game for something that never came out in the US. So it's just like, it's a weird artifact of like, why does this game exist? You know, who was this for? Also, I'm in a car and I can jump and I go faster when I jump in the car. Why? Why is any of this like this? Yeah. Honestly, that would make more sense. Yeah, I think that's part of it, Elle, is like, it's so... Like, it could... I don't even want to say it could have been a good game because it's just so amateurish, but in a way that I find weirdly endearing. I think whoever said it was like a kid's drawing that you put on the fridge has it right. Because it's like, oh, you've made a video game. That's cute. I'm halfway through the game now. Like, we're going all the way through it, and now we're in an airplane. It's like, the graphics aren't even well drawn. You know, it's not like the game is short on substance, but has a lot of style. You know, it's all crudely made. Like, the characters are almost cute looking. Also, you can shoot the lightning down, because I guess that's how that works. Oh yeah, it's extremely short. Well, let's see if we can just beat it. Why not? Because I'm definitely not gonna... You know, I can't devote a stream to this game. Unless I want to do, like, a half-hour long stream someday. Because this is it, you know? This isn't the last level, but we are genuinely, like, halfway through the game. And we've got a UFO, for some reason, that I don't even know if we can kill. Don't think we can. I think we just avoid it and then we land our plane. Yeah, no, being limited on time would be reasonable. It's just so strange to me that this came out in the US. Now we're in London, so we're just gonna shoot guards, I guess. Who I guess these are bad guys? You know, who can say? Who can say what the logic of this game is? It's weirdly fun, in a way. Pero's just going all around the world shooting everybody he sees. And then, I guess this is also in London? Like, what is any of this supposed to represent visually? It's an extremely, like, objectively low-quality game. Super weird. Also, you can't really see what's coming. This is the Tower of London. I mean, I guess it would have to be. Like, what else is this supposed to be? Yeah, the music is almost good. Yeah, and then we're further in there, and this is happening. Whatever this is. Yeah, it's like... Everything about this game just makes you think of better games that you've played. In ways that are hard to describe. Clearly Big Ben. You know, you might actually be right, Jones. Whoops, I died. I also have no idea if this game even has, whoops, infinite continues or not. Oh, I mean, Silver Surfer is a much better game. Silver Surfer's not a bad game. It's just extremely difficult. This I'm mostly just dying because the platforming controls are quite poor. Yeah. No, the OST in Silver Surfer is great, but the game itself is also good. It's just extraordinarily hard. You know, it gets a bad reputation because of its difficulty. Also, I guess this is what the boss inside Big Ben is for some reason. Nothing in this game makes sense. I wonder if the gun would be better. Nope, gun doesn't seem to reach him. Oi, mate, it's 7 bong. It's almost Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah, the Queen's true form. I mean, this would be cool in a better game. No, like, that's a pretty large boss character. Reminds me of, like, how large Fat Cat is in Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. It's just how the British look. So it seems to be almost no rhyme or reason to the pattern. But I'm pretty sure I can just... I mean, you can see your own health and the boss's health at the bottom right. There we go. And now I guess we're going in a hot air balloon now. Particularly angry football hooligan. I will say, I like the little transparency behind the cloud here. That's cute. And I like the way the basket shakes when you hit up to go up. That's cute. I guess you can fall off the bottom of the screen here, somehow. Whoops, I meant to continue. What happens if I hit continue? Okay, it forgot. Part of me wants to play this and just beat it right now. But it is getting late. Well, let's do it a little more. Why not? I meant to continue. I hit the start button too soon. What are any of these enemies supposed to be, even? Yeah, it's like from the Cut India level. Oh, I just shot that guy who was looking out of the house. He didn't do anything, Pero. Why'd you shoot him? He was just an innocent bystander, Pero. Guess if you really want those points. Jeez. Doesn't take prisoners. Love how the levels are called, like, West, Ocean. Like, they couldn't even come up with clever things to call them. I wonder what the speedrun is like in this game. It's gotta be, like, not even 5 minutes. It's probably just jumping like crazy. We've got, like, a spectral ghost ship here. Can I just keep hitting the button and moving right? Like, will I just win if I do that? I probably will. Oh, that enemy managed to hit me. That shark had guts. This is it. This is the gameplay. It's thrilling. Absolutely riveting. I can't bring myself to dislike this game. It's charmingly inept. Which, in fairness, is how plenty of people get through life. Now we get into a submarine for reasons unknown. You know, I don't think there's any context that would make... Yeah. It's really, like, cartoonishly amateur. I'm more amazed that of all, Captain N, that, classic animated show that would feature characters from games on NES, really is just a way to sell toys. This character appeared in an episode of Captain N. It's like, when you look at this and then look at, the games other companies were putting out, you realize just how technically proficient so many other developers were in comparison. Because this is very low quality. But let's get our... The E in pause doesn't even show up. Just wait for him to open his mouth and then pump it full of boomerangs. It's not a sentence I've ever said before in my life or expected to say. Come on. The bomb also seems mostly useless because it throws in a short arc. And it's like, I don't know why I would ever use it instead of any of the other weapons in this game. So why are there bats in the middle of the daytime in the Sahara? Why any of this? You know, at least it's all just very easy to avoid and stuff, but I have so many questions. And they gave us an invulnerability in this stage because it wasn't easy enough, I guess. So I don't even know if that water can hurt me. And why can my car jump? From the Cut Transylvania level, they just crammed them in wherever they could. Now let's go back to London after flying there. Sandbats. TM rolled weird in the random encounter table. Like, this side-scrolling, like, you know, airplane shmup level is almost fun. Like, they're almost there. But your projectile is the slowest thing imaginable. I think there's a 1-up I can pick up, which would be nice. There we go, another 1-up. I would love to know how long it took them to make this game, because if it's longer than like a month, they wasted their time. Oh wait, we've got the UFO thing. Where I don't think I can actually hurt it or its projectiles. Nope. It just shows up. I would love to know, like, what is the anime source material for this like? Because I could imagine that being fun to watch as, like, an adventure. But it's like, they couldn't even draw the backgrounds well in this game. It really is incredible. We're just going on, like, an insane shooting spree. I guess those are, like, bad guys disguised as guards, but you wouldn't know it. I'm just guessing. Also, this building is clearly not Big Ben. So what the hell kind of random building is it that I go into it and this is the interior? Is this the Queen's secret torture dungeon? The stage almost has good music. I didn't even need to shoot that guy. I just wanted to. It's a tunnel to Big Ben. Yeah, right? It must have been good, otherwise why would it appear in Captain N? Surely Captain N wouldn't lie to us just to sell a video game. I miss that age of, you know, like, licensed cartoon tie-ins and stuff. I know none of them are particularly good, but they're fun. Yeah, they weren't vitamin pills at all. Let's try to get through here without falling down this time. There we go. Now we can fight this guy. Whoever he's supposed to be. Oh my god, I've been just seeing clips from the Halo TV series, and I am continually blown away at how they keep managing to make it worse and worse. Like, divorcing, you know, whether you like Halo or not only is it terrible Halo, it's awful science fiction. Like, it's not intelligent. It's not, you know, for kids. It's insulting to the intelligence of everybody watching it. It's just, how did they manage to make the worst mainstream television sci-fi in decades? Genuinely insane. Oh my god, every time I see stuff from it, I'm like, how did this happen? How was this allowed to happen? Stars are falling on us. They did. They spent $200 million to make it look like a video game from 2001. It's avant-garde. I clearly just don't understand it. I don't understand the artistic process. That was a whole level. That was an entire level. Oh yeah. Right. Now we're in New York. Every time I've been to New York, this is exactly what it looks like. Every single thing I've seen from the Halo show just reinforces to me that not only am I not the target audience, but I don't understand any of the decisions they've made. I don't want to understand any of the decisions they've made. I think this level's supposed to be a maze, but it's hard to tell. Yeah, the clock tower level in New York, obviously. With, you know, flames sprouting out. For some reason. Oh, I'm dead. The large York clock. You know, for a game that's not particularly challenging, it is very easy to die. Which I know might sound like a contradiction of terms, but it's because it's poorly made that it's easy to die. This room just a dead end. Yeah. Must have been from the Cut London level. Wait a sec. Oh, we've got the giant snake of New York. You know, it would be great if you could use, like, I don't know, the select button to switch through weapons in real time. You know, like a video game. Sewer crocodile, obviously. I just don't have imagination. Snake Plissken. He's trying to escape from New York. There we go. Yeah, right? They forced that decision upon me. I think we're also at the final boss fight now. Like, this is actually the end of the game in this next room. It's just... I know the boss and his lackey both appear at once. Hey, Rona, thank you for following.
Hello!
Much appreciated. I hope you like bad NES games. There's, I guess, the final boss. Him and his lackey both appeared at once and just destroyed me instantly. Yeah, no, this game lasts like 2 seconds, Ranger. What in the hell? Perfect. Well, earlier we were playing a good game. We were playing the Famicom version of East 3, which I bought a reproduction cart of, so I was playing it in English, thankfully. Can I, like, trigger one of them to spawn? And just take one of them out? This is Puss in Boots' Perro's Great Adventure, which is a game that I genuinely cannot understand how it came out in the US. Oh, I will sing something shortly, Fagoth. I just won the game. That's it. I've just impaled myself on Lady Liberty's crown, and I won the game. That was it. That's the whole game. Oh yeah. No, I do tons of retro games, all on real hardware. And that was the whole game. that was the entire thing. Yep, that was it. The other game that I bought that is a good game is Street Fighter 2010 for the NES, which I was having trouble getting the cartridge to read earlier, so let me see if I can get it. Almost. One's been particularly fickle. Yeah, I think that is the shortest game I've played on stream. Even the Goonies for Famicom was longer. And that barely took an hour. Sorry for the cartridge blow ASMR. Oh, come on. We were working earlier, game. Oh. Oh, we've almost got it. There it is. Come on. There. Oh. It is the Noidtuber Calavera. There we go. Street Fighter 2010, the final fight. This is one I do want to play on stream at some point, because it's an absolutely insane kick-ass action game from Capcom with some of the most, like, fluid controls for jumping around and fighting. It's not a Street Fighter game like you're thinking, but look at this moveset. Like, I can grapple onto stuff, hurl myself over. Yeah, the year is 2010, the distant future. But just look at how sick this looks. Like, you've got just such cool range of motion. Yeah, no, it's sick, foes, but it's also extremely challenging. Like, this is not a game for the faint of heart. So this is one that I have not played before. You know, it was one that I always wanted, and I would play at, like, my cousin's house, but not one I ever owned. It's very easy to die, however. Yeah, right? I mean, when the game came out, this was still 20 years in the future. Now it's, 12 years in the past. But just like, the style of control you've got is so fluid for NES. Like, check this out. And I love the color palette, like I love how the game looks. You can do sick flips and stuff. Hop all around the environment. Just an awesome, awesome game to control. Other games I've considered on stream include stuff like Bionic Commando, just because that's such a unique game. So can I just wail on him? Probably not. No. Yeah, this is not... there's no such thing as a friendly reminder that we're closer to 2040 than 2000. So I think there was a karaoke redeem. So let me do that, and then I think we'll find somebody to raid. So if anybody's got a suggestion, do let me know. Because we've been going for a while. So let me grab a song. And then, oh, that was my neck. And then we'll call it a night. Let's see. Gonna do something on the softer side, because it is late at night now. I'm trying to be considerate to my neighbors, because they're old and complain a lot. What's a nice soft song I've got on my list? Yeah, no, this game would be a good stream game, and I think next week we'll finish East 3. Oh, also, very important class. Yeah, they did. And I lived here first. They should know better. But oh, what was I just thinking? Oh yeah, for Wednesday, 8 p.m. I will be streaming kind of a grab bag of Doom WADs and mods. So if you have any you would like to recommend, either reply to me on Twitter, DM me on Twitter. I've got a bunch ready to go already. I just need a break game before. I do like the Soul Calibur games. Oh, actually, no, Dot is streaming. She's cool. She's playing, what's she on for Platformageddon? She's been going through all the action platformer games on the NES. Oh, she's on Metal Warriors on SNES. That's awesome. We'll go there after. But let me see. Let me sing a song first, and then we can retro raid our way in. Hold on. Since I was just doing... Actually, because I was thinking of it, Mr. J had recommended to me that I load up some Western. Ooh, I do have Doom Golden Souls. What was I just thinking? Oh yeah, Mr. J had recommended some Western themed mods for Doom. So thinking of that. No, I've got him, Mr. J, don't worry. To the town of Aquafrio rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. For the stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came the whisper from each lip. And he's here to do some business with a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and that many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 in 19 more. 1 in 19 more. Now the strangers started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was an Arizona Ranger, wouldn't be too long in town. He came here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead. And he said it didn't matter, he was after Texas Red. After Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, men that tried before were dead. 20 men tried to take him, 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. The morning passed so quickly, it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from the windows, everybody held their breath. They knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death. About to meet his death. There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas Red had not cleared leather for a bullet fairly ripped, and the ranger's aim was deadly with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment and the folks had gathered round. There before them lay the body of the outlaw on the ground. Oh, he might have went on living, but he made one fatal slip when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Big iron, when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his head. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope I will see you Wednesday night. Let's turn the NES off. Hope I will see you Wednesday night for some Doom fun. I've got a bunch of good stuff lined up. I just need a break stream before I go ahead and play Sunlust on stream. Starting Sunlust will be an adventure that I'm not ready for yet. So let's think of a raid message. Let's see. Does anyone have a good idea? I can't think of a good East pun. Yeah, no, Sunlust is going to be... I'm playing Sunlust blind, ultraviolence, pistol start. I am a fool. But we'll get through it. That's going to be the hardest challenge of my dooming career. It's the Easter Bunny. I like it. Thank you, Mr. J. We'll go with Easter Bunny raid. So let's go with that. Let's go on over to Dot. They are playing Metal Warriors, which is a super cool Super Nintendo mecha shooter game. East not. Oh, God. I mean, if you want to, that is a funny pun. Yeah, Dot's great. She plays a lot of good games. I think she played Puss in Boots' Para's Great Adventure. But have a great night, everybody. Oh dear, I'm yawning. Thank you all. We'll finish East 3 next week. So have a great night, everybody, and I will see you later. Bye-bye now. Thank you all.
And I really like non-Japanese people in general.